Have you ever noticed how the way you talk to yourself can either lift you up or tear you down? That quiet voice inside your head isn't just background noise. It shapes how you feel, the choices you make, and how far you go in life. What if changing just one thing, how you speak to yourself, could unlock more confidence, peace, and strength than you thought possible? This isn't about pretending everything is perfect or ignoring problems. It's about learning to treat yourself with the same kindness and respect you give your closest friend. Imagine feeling supported by your own mind every single day, even when things get tough. In this audiobook, you'll discover how positive self-talk can change your life from the inside out. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could be the key to finally believing in yourself and pushing forward no matter what. Chapter 1. Train your voice to speak with inner strength. There's a voice inside you that decides how you live. Not your parents, not society, not your boss or your partner. That voice that speaks when no one's around, the one you hear in your head when you're quiet, that voice is either your greatest ally or your worst enemy. And until you train it to speak from strength, it will unconsciously operate from fear, doubt, weakness, and every message the world has ever thrown at you. You don't need permission to change your life. You need discipline to change your voice. That voice you use when you talk to yourself is the single most powerful tool you have for creating a strong mindset, consistent behavior, and long-term success. But if you spend most of your life using that voice to criticize, to minimize, or to echo the noise of the past, it's no wonder that self-belief feels foreign and strength feels far away. Most people don't realize how loud their internal voice is. They walk through the day reacting, assuming, feeling, doubting, but behind every emotion is a sentence they told themselves. Something went wrong? Well, of course it did. Someone disrespected them? I probably deserved it. A goal failed? That's why I never get my hopes up. These are beliefs spoken in real time through the voice of habit. If your internal dialogue is rooted in weakness, your life will follow. If your inner voice becomes strong, calm, focused, and honest, everything about your life changes because the foundation of who you are starts to shift. So how do you train it? It starts with brutal self-awareness. You need to start catching how often you put yourself down without noticing. How often your mind automatically chooses shame, guilt, or insecurity before strength, resolve, or patience. Most people wake up and immediately tell themselves, I'm tired, I'm behind, I'm not ready, or I don't feel like it. Imagine starting a race with someone screaming that you're not good enough in your ear. That's how most people live every day. You won't run well like that. You won't show up fully. You'll shrink into the background of your own life. But you can flip it. You can become the kind of person who wakes up and hears, you're capable, you've been through worse, you're disciplined, today is yours. That kind of voice doesn't just sound good, it shapes your actions. It gets you up when you're tired. It helps you focus when you're overwhelmed, it keeps you stable when everything else feels chaotic. The shift begins with catching and correcting. When your inner voice says something weak, you replace it. You don't argue with it, you don't entertain it, you don't analyze it for 10 hours. You replace it. That's what training means. A trained mind doesn't allow garbage to stay. If the voice in your head says you're never going to change, you immediately correct it with, I'm changing every day through action. If it says this is too hard, you answer back, I'm built to handle hard things. These aren't affirmations, they're mental commands. They're not about faking confidence. They're about redirecting energy into useful thought. You don't need to be loud. You need to be clear. Inner strength isn't about pretending you have it all figured out. It's about building a voice that holds you together when things fall apart. That means you start giving yourself instructions instead of insults. Instead of saying, I can't focus, you say, right now, I will sit down and complete this task. Instead of saying, I'm anxious, you say, I will breathe and control what I can. This level of self-talk creates clarity. It moves you from emotional chaos to inner order. It doesn't remove stress, but it gives you direction in the middle of it. It takes practice. At first, it will feel unnatural. Your old voice will try to come back. It will whisper that this isn't working, that you'll always be the same, that talking to yourself is weird. Ignore it. Keep going. Every time you replace weakness with strength, you are reprogramming how your brain processes reality. That's not hype. That's neuroscience. The more you speak to yourself with intention, the more your brain wires itself to follow through. Your self-talk determines your actions. Your actions determine your identity determines your results. That's why it matters so much. It's not just about confidence, it's about consistency. If your inner voice is strong, you become someone who acts with purpose. You stop depending on motivation. You stop waiting to feel right. You speak strength and then follow it. You create momentum because you're not waiting to be in the mood. You're telling yourself what needs to be done and then doing it. Here's what you can do right now. Start with one sentence, one command that speaks strength. I show up no matter how I feel. Say it out loud, not once, 10 times. Say it until you start to believe it. Say it again tomorrow. Say it when you feel like quitting. Say it when your alarm goes off. Say it when you mess up. You are training your nervous system to recognize a new standard. This is the work. It's not pretty. It's not exciting. But it is powerful. You are becoming someone different through repetition and discipline. And don't underestimate the small moments. The most important self-talk happens when nobody's watching. When you're on the couch and your brain says, skip the workout, that's the moment to respond. Not with shame, not with excuses, but with strength. This is when I show up. And then you do. That moment rewires you. That's how you build trust in yourself. That's how your inner voice learns to follow your standards instead of your feelings. Sometimes the most powerful self-talk is simple. It's not poetic. It's not fancy. It's direct. Do the work. Keep moving. One more rep. Stay focused. This is who I am. These short, clear phrases are like mental push-ups. The more you use them, the more automatic they become. Eventually, you won't even need to think. Your inner voice will instinctively speak from strength, not weakness. That's real transformation. You won't get there overnight. You'll slip up. You'll have days where the old voice comes back louder. That's okay. That's part of it. What matters is that you keep choosing strength. You keep training. You stay consistent. The people who change their lives aren't the ones who feel good every day. They're the ones who train their mind to lead no matter how they feel. And if you've been through pain, if your mind has been shaped by trauma or negativity, this might be harder, but it also means your transformation will be more powerful. Every time you speak strength into your life, you are reclaiming control. You are reminding yourself that your story is not over. You are deciding consciously that your future will not be defined by your past. That decision is where everything changes. You were not born with a weak voice. You were trained into one by failure, by criticism, by comparison, by fear. But now you get to retrain it with discipline, with intention, with practice. You train it every morning when you speak your goals out loud. You train it during stress when you respond with calm direction. You train it during failure when you choose to grow instead of crumble. Every time you use your voice to guide yourself with strength, you are becoming the leader of your own life. This is the foundation of self-mastery. Before habits, before strategies, before vision boards and productivity hacks. It all begins with how you speak to yourself. That's what defines your limits or breaks them. Don't wait until you feel confident. Start speaking like someone who is. Don't wait until you're successful. Start speaking like someone who shows up with purpose. Don't wait until your life is perfect. Start speaking like someone who's building something real. You can live in your head or you can lead from your mind. Speak strength, choose discipline, redirect weakness, and repeat it until it becomes automatic. This is how you build unshakable inner strength. Not by talking about it, by training for it every single day, starting now. Chapter 2, replace every negative thought with empowering truth. You are not your negative thoughts, you're just the one who's been believing them for too long. There comes a moment in life where you realize that the real enemy isn't out there. It's not the competition. It's not your environment. It's not even your circumstances. It's the quiet, unchallenged voice inside your mind that repeats the same disempowering story on loop. I'm not good enough. I'm too far behind. I always mess things up. Nothing ever works out for me. Those thoughts, left unchecked, don't just affect how you feel, they shape who you become. But here's the truth: thoughts are not commands. They are not facts. They are not permanent. They are not the voice of truth. They are just habits. Old, practiced, and repeated thoughts that got embedded in your mind from pain, fear, or failure, and most of them never came from you. To begin with, you inherited them. You absorbed them. You never chose them consciously. But today, you get to challenge every single one of them. Today, you get to flip the script. You get to replace every negative thought with an empowering truth and rebuild your life from the inside out. The problem is that most people let their minds run wild. They let every fear, every insecurity, every worst-case scenario go unchecked. They don't stop to ask, is this thought useful? Is it true? Is it aligned with the person I want to become? They just feel it, believe it, and act from it. But a thought is just a sentence in your mind. And if you don't take responsibility for your thoughts will take control of your life. You can't afford to live on autopilot anymore. Every negative thought that slips by unchallenged gains power. It starts as a whisper, then it becomes a belief, then it becomes your identity. And once it becomes your identity, it controls everything: how you show up, what you go after, what you settle for, what you avoid. If you want to change your life, you must start by changing what you allow yourself to think, especially when no one else is watching. You don't fix negative thoughts by pretending they don't exist. You fix them by confronting them with clarity and replacing them with a stronger truth. If your mind says, I'm not capable, don't argue. Replace it with, I'm learning and growing every single day. If your mind says, I always mess up, replace it with, I learn from every mistake and improve relentlessly. These aren't just phrases, they're weapons. They're the language of transformation. You don't wait to feel better, you speak better. And eventually your mind catches up. This isn't positive thinking, it's mental training. And it's the difference between surviving and thriving. Because if you believe your worst thoughts, you'll live a small life. You'll stay silent when you should speak. You'll quit early when you should push forward. You'll play it safe when you should take the leap. Not because you're weak, but because your thoughts told you to stay small and you listened. Every thought you allow has consequences. Every time you accept a negative belief, you lower your standard. And the more you lower your standard, the more you become unrecognizable to yourself. That's how people lose themselves, not overnight, but one unchecked thought at a time. I'll never change. This is just who I am. What's the point of trying? They repeat it enough, and eventually it becomes their reality. But your reality is not fixed. It's built by repetition, belief, and choice. The strongest people you admire aren't fearless. They're just disciplined with what they believe. They replace weakness with truth every single day. They know that thoughts are suggestions, not commands. And they don't negotiate with fear. They redirect it. They don't drown in doubt. They observe it, reframe it, and move forward anyway. You have that same ability. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows with use. The first step is awareness. You need to slow down enough to actually hear what your mind is saying. Most people are too distracted to even notice. But once you do hear it, you've got power. You're no longer a victim of your own thinking. You become the one who decides what gets to stay and what gets replaced. And don't underestimate the power of a single replacement. One upgraded thought can shift your whole day. I'm overwhelmed becomes I can handle this one step at a time. I'm behind becomes I'm right where I need to be to grow. I'm not enough becomes I am more than capable of creating change. Speak it once and your state shifts. Repeat it daily and your identity evolves. It's not about lying to yourself. It's about choosing thoughts that serve your growth. You're not ignoring reality. You're reshaping it by choosing which thoughts you give power to. If you feed fear, fear grows. If you feed truth, strength grows. And the truth is this: you are stronger than your thoughts. You are not your pain. You are not your past. You are not your worst day. You are not your self-doubt. You are the one who chooses what comes next. And yes, negative thoughts will still show up. That's normal. They don't go away forever, but they don't get to drive anymore. They don't get to make decisions. You learn to recognize them early, and instead of spiraling, you step in with authority. You speak to yourself with clarity. You say, that's not who I am anymore. You say, I know better now. You say, that thought does not define me. You replace judgment with compassion. You replace fear with direction. You replace chaos with calm. You replace every lie with a deeper, truer belief that fuels your action instead of holding you back. This is not a one-time fix. This is a daily discipline. And like any discipline, it creates freedom. When you master your mind, you stop being controlled by every trigger. You become base, stable, grounded, focused, resilient. You start becoming someone you actually respect, someone who honors their path, someone who doesn't fall for every old story that kept them stuck. You show up with presence. You move with purpose. You live with clarity. Not because life is easy, but because your mind is steady. That's what happens when you replace every negative thought with empowering truth. This is how you take your power back. You take it one thought at a time, one moment of awareness, one act of discipline, one choice to speak truth even when the lie feels familiar. You take back your power every time you say that's not true anymore. Every time you decide, I get to choose what I believe. Every time you replace doubt with action, criticism with compassion, fear with direction. There is a version of you who has already done this. A version who no longer accepts mental sabotage as normal. A version who speaks to themselves like a leader, not a victim. A version who chooses their thoughts the way a warrior chooses their next move, through precision, intention, and purpose. Start living as that version now. Talk like them, think like them, act like them. Let your future self guide your present choices. Let the highest version of you become the loudest voice in your mind. And when the old thoughts return, as they will, you won't panic. You won't spiral. You'll pause, observe, and replace. Over and over. Until that way of thinking becomes who you are. Until replacing negativity with truth is second nature. Until you don't even recognize the old you who believed every lie that came up. You are not broken. You were just never taught how to think for yourself. But now you know. Now you've seen behind the curtain. You see that every belief is a choice. Every thought is a tool. And every moment is an opportunity to think better, choose better, and become better. So start now. Replace it. Whatever thought just told you to stop, ignore it. Replace it. Whatever doubt just tried to pull you back, speak over it. Replace it. Replace every weakness with strength. Replace every fear with focus. Replace every excuse with direction. Replace every lie with truth. Because you were never meant to live small. You were never meant to stay stuck. You were never meant to drown in your own mind. You were meant to rise. You were meant to build. You were meant to lead. But to do that, you must master the one thing that controls everything else, your thinking. And again, until the only voice you hear is the one that believes in you. Now is the time, not tomorrow, not when it's easier, not when you feel ready, right now. Replace the thought, say the truth, take the step, and never stop. You've been quiet long enough. Speak up inside your own mind, not with noise, but with power, with direction, with clarity, with truth. Replace the doubt, replace the lie, replace the fear. Your whole life will follow. Chapter 3, build daily routines around positive mental repetition. If you don't take control of your mind each morning, the world will do it for you, and it won't be kind. There is a reason you wake up feeling lost, scattered, or overwhelmed before your day even begins. It's not because you're weak or undisciplined. It's because your thoughts have no direction. You're stepping into the battlefield of life without armor, without strategy, without a routine that trains your mind to serve you. And that's when most people stay stuck, waking up reacting, scrolling, surviving, and wondering why nothing ever changes. But your mind is programmable. And if you're not writing the code every day, then old habits, negative emotions, and outside distractions are writing it for you. Your life is a mirror of your patterns. And your patterns are born from your routines. The way you start your day is not a small detail, it's a direct investment into your identity. If your morning is filled with distraction, your focus will be fractured. If your routine is built on randomness, your results will be inconsistent. But if your daily rhythm is structured around positive mental repetition, if you intentionally build a habit of feeding your mind with strength, purpose, and clarity, everything changes. Let me say it plainly, you cannot rise above the quality of your mental habits. You can work hard, you can hustle, you can grind. But if your thoughts are working against you, it will feel like walking uphill with a weight strapped to your back. The true transformation begins when you take ownership of the story you repeat to yourself every single day. Because repetition isn't just how habits are formed, it's how identities are built. What you say to yourself consistently becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes how you live. You've seen it in your own life already. The days when you woke up with intention, repeated affirmations, focused your thoughts and practiced clarity. Those days felt powerful. Things didn't shake you as easily. You felt in control. That wasn't a coincidence. That was the result of mental training. That was the reward of discipline. You were seeing proof of what's possible when your mind is aligned with your goals. So why don't we do it every day? Because most people are addicted to chaos. They crave distraction. They seek noise. They've built routines that keep them mentally weak. And not because they want to, but because they've never been taught anything different. They don't realize that your mind is a garden, and whatever you plant each morning grows all day. If you plant doubt, you'll reap hesitation. If you plant fear, you'll reap avoidance. But if you plant truth, discipline, and clarity, your life will reflect that. The greatest transformation you'll ever experience won't come from reading another book or watching another motivational video. It will come from what you consistently do when no one is watching. It will come from what you say to yourself when you wake up. It will come from the invisible repetitions that shape your mental framework. So ask yourself, what are you rehearsing in your mind daily? Are you repeating excuses, regrets, blame? Or are you repeating power, direction, and intention? Because your life will always rise or fall to the level of your thinking patterns. And your patterns come from repetition. It's not enough to just want a better life. You have to build the rituals that train your mind to believe it's possible. You need to create a system of thoughts that becomes so familiar, so practiced, that they automatically guide you when life gets hard. This is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. One group builds their strength daily through routine. The other waits to feel ready and never does. Let's get practical. You need a routine that floods your mind with the right signals. Every morning, before the world gets to you, before notifications, emails, or news, you must train your brain. You do that by repeating the truths you want to live by. I am focused. I take responsibility for everything in my life. I do not entertain weak thoughts. I am committed to action. These are not cliches. They are mental commands. And if you say them long enough, they start to shape the way you think, feel, and act. Do not underestimate the power of these moments. 5 minutes of mental conditioning can change how you show up for 12 hours. 10 minutes of repetition can rebuild a fractured mindset. This is not about motivation. This is about wiring your brain to operate with strength, clarity, and direction. You can meditate, you can journal, you can speak affirmations aloud, you can visualize your goals. The tool doesn't matter as much as the repetition. What matters is that you do it daily, without fail, no matter how you feel. Because that's the trap, waiting to feel like it. You won't. Especially not when you're building something new. Especially not when your old patterns are screaming for attention. But feelings are temporary. Routines are powerful. The person who acts on discipline instead of emotion becomes unstoppable. You don't need to wake up inspired. You need to wake up committed. Committed to repeating the kind of thoughts that build a better life. And don't think it needs to be perfect. You don't need a 2-hour morning routine. You need consistency. You need to stop starting over. You need to stop getting hyped for a week and quitting the moment life gets uncomfortable. You need to show up every day, repeating the message, repeating the standard, repeating the mindset that pulls you forward even when everything around you feels heavy. Because repetition builds mental toughness, and mental toughness builds freedom. When your thoughts are trained, you stop reacting to every problem. You stop second-guessing every decision. You stop drowning in self-doubt. You lead, you move, you execute. And that kind of power doesn't come from talent. It comes from training your mind like a champion trains their body, with focus, with purpose, and with repetition. You don't build a strong mind by accident. You build it by showing up and reinforcing the truth until nothing else feels real. You build it by declaring your vision every morning and moving in alignment with it. You build it by starving distractions and feeding discipline. This is the new standard. No more mornings lost to chaos. No more waking up in survival mode. No more waiting for circumstances to improve before you believe in yourself. Start now. Design a routine that serves your mental strength. Lock in the non-negotiables. Declare your identity out loud. Review your vision. Protect your first hour like your life depends on it, because it does. That hour is where your mindset is shaped. That hour is where you decide who you are. That hour is where you take control of the rest of the day. It won't always be exciting. It won't always feel productive. But that's the beauty of repetition. You do it anyway. And over time, the results stack up. Your confidence grows. Your self-respect increases. Your clarity sharpens. And one day, without even realizing it, you wake up with peace, with focus, with purpose. And not because your life suddenly got easier, but because you became someone who trained their mind to rise above the noise. That's the power of building your life around positive mental repetition. It gives you leverage. It gives you direction. It gives you a center that cannot be shaken by circumstances. When everyone else is distracted, you're focused. When others doubt, you believe. When others quit, you stay consistent. So stop waiting. Build the routine. Make it sacred. Make it yours. Make it non-negotiable. And protect it with everything you've got. Because your dreams are not just possible, they are inevitable if you train your mind to believe it daily. Now's your moment. You've heard the truth. You've seen what's possible. But nothing changes until you act. So tomorrow morning, before the noise, before the doubt, before the world pulls you in, take your mind back. Choose the thoughts that align with your vision. Repeat the beliefs that match your future, and do it every single day. No excuses, no breaks, no exceptions. Your life is being written by what you think about daily. Make sure it's a story worth living. Make sure it's a story you're proud to read back. It begins with a thought. It becomes a habit. And then it becomes who you are. This is your moment to build it. Brick by brick. Thought by thought. Repetition by repetition. Now go. Take control of your mind. Repeat the truth. Shape your focus. Build the routine. And become the person you were always meant to be. Chapter 4. Create clear statements that align with your goals. If your goals aren't crystal clear in your mind, don't be surprised when your life feels like it's going in circles. Most people don't fail because they lack talent, discipline, or time. They fail because they never take the time to define what they're truly chasing. Their vision is blurry, their mind is cluttered, their words are vague. They keep saying they want more, they want better, they want success, but they've never sat down and written the exact, undeniable, specific statements that anchor their life to something real. And that's where frustration begins, when your actions have no clear destination. You want to change your life? Then start speaking with precision. Start declaring what you want in a way that leaves no room for confusion. Because clarity isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. You don't get what you want by hoping. You get it by being so specific, so intentional, so sharply aligned in your words that your brain starts moving toward it automatically. When your statements are clear, your energy becomes focused. When your energy is focused, your results begin to align. Think about the last time you felt lost or overwhelmed. Was it really because your situation was impossible, or was it because you didn't know what the next step was? When the path is vague, anxiety shows up. But when the mission is clearly defined, confidence kicks in. And that's the difference between people who grow and people who stay stuck. One group builds their life around statements of clarity. The other hides behind confusion. Let me ask you something direct. What do you want your life to look like 1 year from now? Can you say it clearly, without stuttering, without second-guessing, without slipping into generalities? Or do you still give yourself permission to be vague, because being vague is safe? Vague keeps you in your comfort zone. But clarity forces commitment. And commitment demands action. It's not enough to say, I want to be successful. What does that mean to you? Does it mean financial freedom? A strong, healthy body? A peaceful mind? A thriving business? Be specific. Speak it out loud. Write it down. Turn it into a personal command that echoes in your mind every single day. Your words create your reality. If they're weak, your direction will be weak. But if they're exact, focused, and powerful, they'll shape your thoughts, guide your habits, and build your future. You have to build a personal vocabulary that fuels your goals. Most people speak in complaints, excuses, and uncertainty, and then they wonder why they feel stuck. Your self-talk is your steering wheel. It either pulls you forward or holds you in place. Every sentence you repeat to yourself is either reinforcing doubt or building belief, and you get to choose. You are the author, you are the voice, you are the one shaping the narrative. So don't say, I hope things get better. Say, I am building a stronger mind every day. Don't say, I wish I had more time. Say, I create time by owning my focus. Don't say, I don't know what I'm doing. Say, I learn quickly and adapt with confidence. These aren't just affirmations. They're declarations of who you are becoming. They're anchors that keep your mind aligned with your vision when life tries to distract you. Clarity begins with language. If you want to transform how you feel, how you think, and how you show up in the world, start by transforming the words you use. Don't just think them, say them, write them, memorize them. Repeat them until they become a part of your identity. Because once your statements are clear, your actions begin to organize themselves around that clarity. Your brain is always listening. It responds to the instructions you give it. If your thoughts are scattered, your decisions will reflect that. But if your thoughts are aligned, your life will start to take shape. You'll begin noticing opportunities that match your statements. You'll start attracting relationships, habits, and environments that reinforce your direction. This isn't magic, it's focus, it's psychology. It's how your mind filters the world. And when you get this right, everything starts to shift. You stop saying yes to things that pull you off track. You stop wasting time on distractions that have nothing to do with your mission. You stop tolerating confusion because you've already told yourself exactly where you're going and you've made it non-negotiable. The key is consistency. You can't say one thing on Monday and something different on Friday. You can't change your statements based on your mood. If you say you're focused, then act like it. If you say you're disciplined, then show up with it. Let your words match your walk. Let your walk reinforce your identity, and let your identity build the future you've decided to live. Don't just think about goals. Translate them into daily declarations. Turn them into standards. Let them guide your choices. You're not waiting for clarity. You're creating it. You're not hoping for motivation. You're building direction with your own voice. When the world gets noisy, and it will, you go back to your statements. When fear creeps in, and it will, you repeat your truth. When failure knocks you down, and it will, you stand on the foundation of the clarity you built long before the storm. That's what separates leaders from followers. They don't drift. They decide. They speak with direction. And then they move without hesitation. The process is simple but powerful. Sit down and ask yourself, what do I want to create in my life? What must I become to achieve it? And what clear statements will remind me of this every day? Then build your morning around those answers. Speak them, write them, visualize them. Let them become so familiar that doubt has no room to breathe. This is how you rewire your identity. One statement at a time, one repetition at a time, one decision at a time, and it starts now. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for someone to give you permission. This is your life. This is your future. And your words are the most powerful tool you have to shape it. When you wake up tomorrow, don't just scroll. Don't just survive. Declare who you are. Declare what you want. Declare what you're building. Speak it with fire. Speak it with conviction. Speak it with the kind of energy that makes your old self uncomfortable. Because your future doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It responds to clear direction backed by ruthless repetition. You already have the answers inside you. You just haven't written them out clearly enough. So do it now. Define your vision. Create your statements. Speak them until they feel real. And live every day in alignment with what you've declared. This is your time to speak with precision. This is your chance to create clarity. This is your moment to build a life that matches your potential. Say it, own it, live it. Never let confusion steal your power again. You don't have to guess your way through life anymore. You don't have to hope things work out. You get to design the direction. You get to build the structure. You get to shape the identity. And it starts with a voice that refuses to be vague. Your future is waiting for clear instructions. Your goals are waiting for you to speak them into motion. Your mind is waiting for you to give it something to lock onto. So give it power. Give it focus. Give it words that create movement. Speak like it's already done. Declare it like it's non-negotiable. And then back it up with actions that prove you mean it. You are not here to repeat the past. You are here to design the future. And it begins with one clear, powerful, unapologetic statement of who you are and where you're going. Now go. Say it. Live it. Be it. Chapter 5. Speak kindly to yourself in moments of failure. The way you speak to yourself when you're broken will decide how quickly you rise again, or if you rise at all. Most people don't fail because they made mistakes. They fail because of what they tell themselves after the mistake is made. It's not the fall that crushes them. It's the self-blame, the internal shame, this quiet war they wage against themselves when no one's watching. And it's that voice, that cruel inner dialogue that decides whether they move forward with courage or stay trapped in guilt. You've been there, haven't you? Those nights where you lie awake replaying everything you did wrong. Those mornings where you look in the mirror and see disappointment staring back at you. That pit in your stomach when you realize you could have done better, but you didn't. We all know that feeling. But here's the truth, most people never tell you beating yourself up doesn't build strength. It builds fear. And fear doesn't lead to growth, it leads to paralysis. So if you want to build a life that's unshakable, you need to learn how to speak to yourself with the kind of kindness that heals, not the kind of criticism that wounds deeper. You need to become your own source of courage, not your own greatest enemy. The people who recover fast from failure aren't the ones who pretend it didn't happen. They're the ones who feel it fully, learn from it honestly, and speak to themselves with compassion that fuels progress. When you fail, and you will, the words you choose to say to yourself become a blueprint for either your next step or your next excuse. You can say, I'm such a mess, or you can say, I'm learning something important here. You can say, I always screw things up, or you can say, this is one mistake. It doesn't define who I am. You can say, everyone is better than me, or you can say, I'm still on the path and I'll get better with time. It's not just words, it's the internal permission to keep going. Think about how you'd talk to someone you love if they just failed. Would you tear them down? Would you call them worthless? Would you remind them of every other time they made a mistake? Of course not. You'd be patient. You'd be encouraging. You'd remind them of their potential. You'd point out the lesson. You'd give them time. But when it's us, we become ruthless. And we call it honesty, when it's really just unnecessary cruelty. You weren't born with that harsh voice. Somewhere along the way, you absorbed it. From teachers, parents, failures, disappointments, environments that made you feel like making mistakes meant you were broken. But that voice doesn't have to live in you forever. You can replace it. You can retrain it. You can talk to yourself with the same calm, encouraging tone that helps you move forward instead of holding yourself hostage to what you didn't do right. Here's the key to rebuilding from failure. The sooner you shift your self-talk, the faster you recover. Every time you fail, there's a tiny window where you get to make a choice. Do I define myself by this, or do I define myself by how I respond? If you choose the second, you become stronger. If you choose the first, you sink deeper. And your voice, your inner voice, makes that choice before your actions ever do. It's not weakness to be kind to yourself. It's strength. It takes strength to admit you didn't get it right and still choose to believe in yourself. It takes strength to say, I messed up, and not turn that into I'm a failure. It takes strength to pause, breathe, and say, I still believe in my ability to rise, even after this. We live in a world that glorifies toughness, but real toughness is quiet. It's found in how gently you treat yourself when you're at your lowest. The people who bounce back aren't superhuman. They just refuse to stay down. And the reason they get up isn't because they don't feel pain, it's because they speak to themselves in a way that encourages effort, not shame. Start by catching the voice when it turns against you. When it says, why did you even try? Stop it. replace it with, I tried because I'm willing to grow. When it says you're never going to get this right, respond with, that's not true. I've figured things out before, and I'll figure this out too. It's not about pretending you didn't fail. It's about refusing to let failure write your identity. You are not your worst decision. You are not your lowest day. You are not the voice of fear echoing in your mind. You are who you decide to be today, in this moment, after everything went wrong. And if you can stand in the ashes and still speak to yourself with hope, then you've already won something powerful. You've proven that your spirit is stronger than your circumstances. The journey to success isn't built on flawless execution. It's built on constant recovery, on getting back up quicker each time, and what determines how fast you rise? It's the words, the beliefs, the self-compassion. If you want to move forward, you must first forgive yourself for the things you didn't know, for the actions you regret, for the lessons that came at a cost. Because no one ever reached greatness by dragging the weight of shame behind them. You grow faster when you speak softly to yourself. When you say, yes, that hurt, but I'm still here. When you say, I missed the mark, but I'm going to aim again. When you say, this is hard, but I've been through harder. The tone you use with yourself becomes the lens through which you see your future. Use a tone that builds you, use words that push you, speak like someone who actually wants to see you succeed. You've spent enough time punishing yourself. That's not how you become better, that's how you become bitter. It's time to switch the script. Be the person who still believes in a dream, even when they've stumbled. Be the voice of encouragement when you need it most. Be the presence in your own life that says, this doesn't end here. This is just one part of the story. You're not supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to be real, and real people fail. Real people fall short. Real people disappoint themselves. But real people also get up. Real people take ownership. Real people grow, and you are one of them. Next time you fail, try this, pause for a moment. Don't rush to judgment. Don't replay every wrong move in your head like a punishment reel. Instead, breathe. Say something healing. Say something hopeful. Say something that would help a friend. Because whether you know it or not, you're listening, and those words matter. Every champion you admire has failed. The difference is, they didn't make failure a home. They moved through it. They turned it into a stepping stone. And they did it by mastering their inner voice. So ask yourself, what do I want to build from this? Who do I want to become through this? And what kind of voice will take me there? You're not done. You're not broken. You're in progress. That failure isn't the end of your story. It's a reminder that you're still in the game. And as long as you keep choosing to believe in your ability to grow, you will always be moving forward. Not hiding. Just speak the kind of words that help you breathe again. Tell yourself, I'm going to be okay. Say, this doesn't define me. Whisper, I still trust my path. And then keep moving quietly, boldly, gently forward. Now go speak like someone who still believes in their future. Because I promise you, your future still believes in you. Chapter 6. Affirm your worth every morning with conviction. There is no force stronger than a person who wakes up every morning and remembers their worth before the world has a chance to make them forget. Before the world tells you who you're not, you must tell yourself who you are. Because if you don't, someone else will. Someone who doesn't know your fight. Someone who hasn't walked through your pain. Someone who's never had to rise after falling as hard as you did. Every morning, before you pick up your phone, before you check the notifications, before you give your energy to everything outside of you, look inward. Speak to yourself. Anchor yourself. Affirm your worth like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. You don't need the world to remind you how valuable you are. That's your job. You need to reclaim that power every single day. You need to start your morning with a voice louder than your doubts, stronger than your past, and more consistent than your fears. Because if you leave your identity up for grabs, the world will label you. It will confuse you. It will convince you that your value is negotiable. But it's not. You weren't born to play small. You weren't meant to question your place in the mirror every morning. You were built for something higher. But you'll never rise to it if your first words of the day are rooted in anxiety, fear, or self-neglect. Your mind needs to hear strength the moment it wakes. Your soul needs to be reminded that it still matters. And your spirit, it's waiting for your permission to move forward. Every morning is a new negotiation. Will you shrink back into insecurity, or will you step into conviction? Will you wait for approval, or will you approve of yourself first? Will you scroll and compare, or will you declare who you are before the world tries to mold you? The battle starts when you open your eyes, and the weapon is your words. You don't rise with confidence by accident. It's built, it's designed, it's spoken into existence. And the most powerful sentence you can speak to yourself in the morning is one that reminds you, I'm enough, I'm capable, and I have work to do that only I can do. Affirmation is not fluff. It's not some soft surf verb for the mind. Because every morning you wake up, your doubts do too. Your past doesn't sleep. Your wounds don't vanish overnight. Your insecurities are waiting. But you have a choice. You can either let them set the tone for your day, or you can override them with truth that you speak out loud with conviction. It has to be loud enough to drown out the lies. Because your mind has been conditioned by years of programming, years of judgment, years of being overlooked, misunderstood, underestimated. That voice inside didn't come from nowhere. It was shaped by pain, by rejection, by fear. And you've lived long enough letting it lead. It's time for something different. You need to become the voice you always needed. You need to say the things you once waited for others to say to you. You need to fill that space every morning with declarations so solid, so clear, that doubt doesn't even have a chance to breathe. This isn't just motivation, this is strategy. Because if you don't train your mind in the morning, it will drift during the day. It will latch onto comparison, it will replay mistakes, it will chase approval. When you affirm your worth in the morning, you're planting the seed of who you choose to be. And every action you take after that becomes the water. That's how you build identity. That's how you design your life on purpose. That's how you stop reacting to the world and start moving through it with grounded confidence. You don't need to wake up and feel perfect. You don't need to feel strong every day. But you do need to speak strength. You need to affirm it. Because what you say consistently, you start to believe. And what you believe, you start to embody. That's how transformation happens. There are people who look in the mirror every morning and see their flaws first. They see failure. They see not enough. And then they carry that into every room, every relationship, every opportunity. That self-image becomes a filter. But you can change that. Not by waiting until you feel worthy, but by affirming it before you do. Say it even when it feels uncomfortable. Say it even when your voice shakes. Say it especially when you don't believe it yet. Because repetition is power. Conviction is born through practice. And you don't have to wait to feel confident to start acting like someone who is. I am worthy of love, respect, and success. I am not my past. I am my potential. I have everything I need inside of me. My mistakes don't define me, my effort does. I am resilient. I am focused. I am enough. These aren't just phrases. These are anchors. These are shields. These are reminders. And when spoken with belief, they begin to rewire your identity from the inside out. You don't rise because someone believes in you. You rise because you refuse to let the voices in your head talk you out of who you are becoming. That's the difference between people who move forward and people who stay stuck. The ones who grow are the ones who repeat truth louder than their excuses. So stop waiting for someone to wake you up with love. Do it yourself. Don't wait for the perfect morning to start this. Do it now. Don't wait until you feel different. Speak different, and the feelings will follow. You're not at the mercy of your thoughts. You're the architect of them. And each morning is your opportunity to build something strong. Most people start their day in reaction. They check the news, check social media, check messages, and let the outside world define how they feel about themselves. But that's backward. You don't check in with the world first. You check in with your truth. You build your emotional foundation before stepping into the chaos. Because when your worth is settled inside you, no external noise can shake it. Wake up and remind yourself of your value, not your failures. Wake up and speak strength, not self-criticism. Wake up and name who you want to be, because that identity needs to be chosen daily. This isn't about pretending you don't have flaws. It's about not allowing those flaws to have the final word. There's a version of you that already exists on the other side of consistency. The one who doesn't question every step. The one who doesn't shrink when challenged. The one who walks into a room and owns their space not by being loud, but by being grounded. And that version of you starts with a decision. A decision to affirm your worth not once, not occasionally, but every single morning. And let's be clear, you don't affirm your worth because you've already achieved everything. You do it so that you can. You affirm who you are now and who you're becoming. Because identity leads behavior. When you see yourself as powerful, you make powerful choices. When you see yourself as resilient, you show up even when it's hard. When you see yourself as enough, you stop chasing validation. Every great life is built on a foundation of self-respect. And self-respect begins with the way you talk to yourself when no one else is listening. If your words aren't lifting you, they're limiting you. So fix the tone, fix the script, fix the way you start your day, because you deserve to feel strong, not someday, but now. You deserve to speak to yourself with dignity. You deserve to rise with purpose. And that begins with conviction. Not soft hope, not passive wishing, but bold, loud, unapologetic conviction. So tomorrow morning, when the alarm rings, don't just get up. Rise, look in the mirror, and before the noise of the world touches your mind, touch your soul with words that awaken it, words that remind it of who it is, and then say them again the next day, and again the day after that, until it becomes your new standard, until your mind no longer accepts anything less. Because your worth isn't something you find, it's something you declare. It's not hiding. It's waiting for your voice. So speak it, own it, believe it, live it, and never forget your power begins the moment you remember who you are. Every single morning. Chapter 7, Challenge Self-Doubt by Speaking Bold New Beliefs. Self-doubt is a silent thief that sneaks into your mind and steals your dreams before you even get the chance to chase them. It whispers that you're not good enough, that you'll fail, that your goals are too big or your past too heavy to overcome. That voice is relentless, and it's designed to keep you small, to keep you comfortable in your cage of uncertainty. What if you could replace it with beliefs so bold, so fierce, they shatter every limit self-doubt has ever placed on you? Imagine waking up every day with a mind trained to challenge every negative thought immediately. Imagine having a mental shield so strong that no hesitation, no fear, no insecurity can penetrate it. This is not some vague dream. This is a skill you can develop, a way of rewiring your mind to speak new truths that empower rather than diminish. Self-doubt grows in the silence of inaction. It flourishes when you allow fear to speak louder than faith. The problem isn't that you doubt yourself sometimes. That's human. The problem is when you let that doubt become the script you follow without question. You don't have to accept those inner criticisms as facts. They are only stories your mind tells, and you have the power to rewrite those stories starting now. What if you decided right now to reject every limiting thought that has ever stopped you? What if you spoke to yourself with words that create courage, confidence, and clarity? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. There is a power in language. The words you use to describe yourself and your potential directly shape your reality. When you say, I can't hear you, brain hears, don't try. When you say, I'm not ready, your mind pauses and waits. But when you say, I am capable, or I will find a way, you are training your brain to hunt for solutions, to lean into challenges, to rise above fear. It's time to stop tiptoeing around your self-doubt like it's an invincible enemy. It's time to look it straight in the eye and speak back with unshakable belief. Because belief is the antidote to doubt. Not blind optimism, not naive hope, but belief forged in reality, belief rooted in your willingness to keep moving forward even when it's hard. Think about a moment in your life when you overcame something impossible. Maybe it was a heartbreak, a failure, a loss, or a fear that paralyzed you. What carried you through wasn't luck. It wasn't magic. It was a deep, unspoken belief that you could survive, that you could find a way, that you were stronger than your pain. That same strength lives inside you right now. It's waiting for you to call it out with bold new beliefs, beliefs that refuse to let self-doubt dictate your future. Start small if you have to. When self-doubt sneaks in, catch it and counter it immediately. If the thought says, "You'll never be good enough," say back, "I am more than enough." If it says, "You're not ready," say, "I am becoming ready every day." If it says, "This is too hard," say, "I am built to face hard things." The key is repetition and emotion. Your brain needs to hear these new beliefs not just once, but over and over and with feeling. Say them out loud. Write them down. Repeat them in your mind like a battle cry. Because your mind won't change on wishful thinking, it changes on action. Bold beliefs do more than quiet doubt. They create momentum. They inspire you to take the next step, then the next, even when fear is screaming. They build resilience by reminding you that struggle is part of growth, not a sign you should quit. Consider the stories you've told yourself about what's possible. How many of those stories have been written by fear and not by fact? It's time to become the author of your own narrative, to write a new story where you are the hero who faces the enemy of self-doubt and wins every time. This doesn't mean you will never feel uncertain or afraid. It means you will refuse to let those feelings control you. It means that every time doubt tries to take the stage, you step forward and say, "Not today." You are the guardian of your mind. You choose what thoughts enter and which ones you give power to. When you speak bold new beliefs, you are setting boundaries around your mental space. You are telling yourself and the world that you will no longer settle for less than your full potential. This is a daily practice, not a one-time fix. Self-doubt is like a weed that keeps trying to grow back, but with consistent care, your bold beliefs become the roots of a garden that flourishes no matter the weather. The more you nurture your inner strength, the more automatic it becomes to see yourself through the lens of possibility rather than limitation. Bold beliefs become habits. Habits become character. And character shapes your destiny. What you tell yourself today will ripple into the choices you make tomorrow and the life you build over years. So, challenge yourself. Look at that voice of doubt and refuse to listen. Replace its words with declarations that elevate you. Speak your worth with clarity and power. Claim your potential as real and non-negotiable. When you do this, something amazing happens. You stop shrinking to fit your fears and start expanding to meet your dreams. The journey is not easy. You will have days when old doubts creep back in. But those are the days you must speak your new beliefs louder than ever. They are the days your commitment to yourself is tested. And every time you choose to believe in your bold new story, you win. You were never meant to be a prisoner of self-doubt. You were meant to be a warrior of belief, a creator of your future, a relentless seeker who pushes past fear and embraces growth. If you want to change your life, change your mind first. Speak boldly, speak clearly, speak with conviction. Your words have the power to transform your inner world and everything beyond it. Start today. Start now. Challenge every limiting thought with a fierce new belief. Because when you do, you don't just change your story, you rewrite your destiny. The voice inside you can be your greatest enemy or your strongest ally. The choice is yours. Choose to speak boldly. Choose to believe fiercely. Choose to rise above doubt and become unstoppable. And remember, the next time self-doubt knocks, you don't have to answer. You get to speak first. Speak loud. Speak bold. Speak the truth of your power. Your future is waiting. Claim it with your words. Chapter 8. Develop self-respect by reinforcing personal standards. Your self-respect is the invisible fortress that guards your happiness, your peace, and your future. Once it's broken, everything else falls apart. Imagine waking up every day feeling untouchable, knowing that no circumstance, no criticism, no temptation can erode your sense of worth because you have built a foundation so strong it can withstand anything. This is not a dream reserved for a chosen few, it's a reality waiting for you to claim it. And it starts with one thing: reinforcing your personal standards. The standards you set for yourself are not just rules or ideals, they are the promises you make to yourself about how you will live, who you will be, and what you will never tolerate again. They shape your decisions, your habits, and ultimately your identity. When your standards are clear and uncompromising, your self-respect grows naturally and powerfully. Too often, people confuse self-respect with arrogance or perfectionism. The truth is that self-respect is humble yet fierce. It means valuing yourself enough to refuse anything that diminishes you. It means showing up for yourself in every moment, even when no one else is watching. It's the inner compass that keeps you aligned with your deepest values and true worth. Think about a time when you felt proud of yourself, not because of what others said, but because you honored your own standards. Maybe you refused to settle for less than you deserve. That feeling, that quiet strength, is self-respect in action. Building self-respect is not about sudden grand gestures. It's about the small, consistent choices you make every day to hold yourself accountable. It's waking up and deciding that your actions will reflect the person you want to become. It's refusing to let laziness, distractions, or other people's opinions pull you off course. When you reinforce your personal standards, you stop negotiating with yourself about what's acceptable. You stop shrinking to fit others' expectations or to avoid conflict. This boundary is not a cage, it's a shield. It keeps you safe from anything that doesn't serve your growth. Many struggle with self-respect because they have allowed their standards to erode over time, often without realizing it. Maybe you tolerated disrespect from others because you feared losing connection. Maybe you gave in to bad habits because the moment felt easier. Maybe you lowered your expectations because of past failures. Every time you settle, your self-respect takes a hit. But here's the powerful truth: your past does not define your future. Every moment offers a new chance to raise your standards higher than ever before. When you commit to yourself fully, you send a message that you are worthy of respect from others and from yourself. This transformation begins with clarity. What do you truly value? What will you never compromise on again? What kind of person do you want to be when no one is looking? Take time to answer these questions honestly, because vague standards create weak boundaries. Once your standards are clear, the real work begins, living by them consistently. This means making decisions that may feel uncomfortable, but honor your integrity. It means saying no when you want to say yes just to please others. It means choosing discipline over ease. This process builds a reservoir of respect that grows stronger with every choice you make. When you strengthen your personal standards, you don't just change your behavior, you reshape your identity. You become someone who commands respect effortlessly because you respect yourself first. People will notice the shift because self-respect radiates confidence, calm, and authenticity. At the same time, be patient and kind to yourself. Reinforcing your standards is a journey, not a perfect performance. You will stumble, you will face temptation. But every time you recommit, every time you realign, you reinforce the fortress of your self-respect. This commitment affects every area of your life. In relationships, you attract those who honor your worth. In your work, you perform at your highest level because you refuse to settle for mediocrity. In your mindset, you cultivate resilience because you trust yourself to overcome challenges with integrity. Remember, self-respect is the soil from which all other forms of success grow. Without it, achievements feel hollow and external validation becomes a desperate chase. With it, you become unstoppable, anchored by an unshakable belief in your value. Imagine how your life would change if you refused to accept anything less than what aligns with your highest standards. Imagine the peace that comes from knowing you are living true to yourself every single day. Imagine the power of walking through the world with the quiet confidence that you are enough, exactly as you are, and always worthy of more. This is the gift of self-respect. It frees you from the chaos of doubt and distraction. It gives you a steady hand to guide your decisions and a fierce heart to defend your dreams. It turns ordinary moments into acts of courage and everyday choices into steps toward greatness. Start today by identifying one area where your standards have slipped. It might be how you treat your body, how you manage your time, or how you communicate with others. Then make a conscious decision to raise the bar. Commit to one action that reinforces your worth and stick to it no matter what. As you build momentum, your self-respect will grow like a fire that cannot be extinguished. You'll find yourself less swayed by criticism, more resilient in adversity, and more focused on what truly matters. Your life will become a reflection of the standards you uphold, and that reflection will inspire not just you, but everyone around you. This is not about being perfect. It's about being real, honest, and loyal to yourself above all else. It's about creating a life that feels right, because it is built on a foundation of respect that no one can shake. When you look in the mirror, You want to see someone who honors their promises, who stands firm in their values, and who treats themselves with kindness and strength. That person is waiting for you just beneath the surface. Your task is to bring them forward by reinforcing your personal standards every single day. You have the power to rewrite your story. You have the strength to break free from patterns that have held you back. You have the wisdom to know that self-respect is not earned through others' approval, but through your own consistent commitment to what you know is right. The moment you start living by your highest standards, you reclaim your life. You reclaim your voice. You reclaim your power. And nothing will ever be able to take that away from you again. Don't wait for someone else to validate your worth. Don't settle for less because it's easier. Choose to respect yourself fiercely and consistently. Set standards that honor your potential and your dreams. Make those standards non-negotiable. Your self-respect is your ultimate freedom. Guard it, nourish it, let it lead you to the life you were born to live. Now is the time. Step into your power. Reinforce your personal standards and watch how your world transforms in ways you never imagined possible. The future belongs to those who respect themselves enough to demand more. Be one of them. Chapter 9. Practice silent confidence when facing tough situations. There is a power that outshines every loud voice, every desperate argument, every frantic attempt to prove yourself. It is the power of silent confidence, and it is the strongest weapon you will ever own when facing life's toughest battles. Picture this. You are standing in the eye of a storm, pressure mounting, chaos swirling all around you, voices clamoring for attention, and your every instinct screaming to react, to defend, to explain. But instead of rushing to speak or act out of panic, you remain still, composed and steady. Your silence speaks louder than words, your calmness unsettles the chaos, and your quiet presence commands respect without uttering a sound. This is not weakness, this is mastery. When challenges come, most people fall into two traps. They either become reactive, lashing out in frustration or fear, or they shrink, withdrawing and doubting their own worth. Both responses weaken your position. But true strength lies in learning how to stand firm internally while the world roars outside. Silent confidence is not about arrogance or cold detachment. It is about knowing your value and holding on to it no matter what the situation demands. It is trusting yourself deeply enough that you do not need to prove anything to anyone. When you cultivate this inner steadiness, you become untouchable, not because you are invincible, but because you are unshakable. Think about the moments when you faced difficulty and responded by over-explaining, justifying, or trying to persuade others desperately. How often did that work in your favor? How often did it only add fuel to the fire or make you doubt your own position? Now imagine a different approach. You listen carefully, you breathe deeply, and you let your actions and calm demeanor do the talking. You give yourself the space to think clearly rather than react impulsively. You become the calm in the storm, the mountain others stumble against. This silent confidence grows from a foundation of self-awareness and self-trust. It requires that you develop an intimate understanding of your values, your boundaries, and your goals. When you know who you are and what you stand for, you no longer need to shout it from the rooftops. Your quiet certainty radiates naturally. One of the most profound effects of silent confidence is how it changes the energy around you. When you project calm assurance, people instinctively listen. They recognize strength, even if it's unspoken. You create an aura that commands. Respect and disarms conflict before it escalates. Building this kind of confidence starts with mastering your mind in private moments. Practice observing your thoughts without getting swept away by them. Notice when fear, anger, or self-doubt arise, and gently return your focus to your breath or your core values. This practice develops the inner calm that can be summoned in the heat of the moment. In the face of criticism or opposition, silent confidence allows you to pause instead of reacting. You don't need to defend yourself aggressively or prove your worth through words. You simply stand in your truth, letting your integrity do the work. This not only preserves your energy, but also elevates your influence. There's a story of a leader who faced relentless attacks, yet never responded with anger or harsh words. Instead, he remained silent and focused, letting his consistent actions and quiet strength win over even his harshest critics. His silence was not emptiness, it was the loudest statement he made. You too can embody this. When someone challenges you, when situations feel overwhelming, instead of rushing to react, remind yourself that silence can be your ally. It's a space where power gathers, where clarity emerges, and where your true strength shines. Many confuse silence with passivity. They believe speaking up loudly or proving themselves repeatedly is the only way to be heard. But history shows us that the most influential figures often spoke less and acted more. Their confidence was not in their volume, but in their presence. Developing silent confidence means valuing depth over noise. It means recognizing that your worth is not measured by how much you say or how loud you are, but by the quality of your presence and the integrity of your actions. This mindset shift requires patience. You will be tempted to react quickly or fill silence with empty words. This is natural, but each time you choose calm over chaos, you strengthen a habit that will transform your life. Practice this in small moments. When someone cuts you off in conversation, pause and respond thoughtfully rather than defensively. When you face a tough decision, give yourself time to listen to your inner voice instead of rushing. These small acts of silent confidence accumulate and prepare you for the bigger storms. In situations where emotions run high, your silence can be a powerful tool. It forces others to confront themselves, to fill the void with their own truths, and often to reconsider their approach. This shift can turn conflicts into opportunities for understanding and growth. Moreover, silent confidence guards your energy. When you stop wasting time and strength on futile arguments or explanations, you preserve your power for what truly matters: your goals, your peace, and your progress. Imagine the freedom of moving through difficult moments without the weight of needing to prove your value. Imagine how that freedom would reshape your relationships, your career, and your self-perception. Silent confidence also invites respect from within. As you prove to yourself that you can face adversity calmly and effectively, your self-trust deepens. This internal respect becomes a wellspring of resilience, enabling you to navigate future challenges with grace. The world around you will notice this change. People are drawn to those who carry themselves with quiet assurance. Your silence will speak volumes, inspiring others and creating a space where your influence grows organically. This is not a mask to wear, but a state to cultivate. It requires daily commitment to knowing yourself better and responding with intention rather than impulse. It's a lifelong journey that reshapes how you engage with life's trials. Remember, silent confidence is a form of power that cannot be taken from you. No external circumstance can diminish it because it lives within your mind and heart. When you embrace this, you become your own anchor in the storm. So when the next tough situation arrives, and it will, choose silence over noise. Choose presence over reaction. Choose confidence over fear. Stand firm in your calm and let your silence be your strength. Start now by practicing stillness in your daily life. When stress arises, pause, breathe, and reconnect with your center. Notice how your body relaxes and your mind sharpens. Carry this practice into every challenge you face. This is the path to unshakable strength. This is how you become unstoppable. Take this moment to commit to silent confidence. Let it transform how you face adversity and watch as your life shifts in ways you never imagined possible. The most powerful voice you have is the one spoken in silence. Use it wisely, and you will command the world around you without uttering a word. Now step forward with quiet strength and show the world that your power needs no noise to be heard. Chapter 10. Talk yourself through discomfort with calm control. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is the signal that growth is happening. The invisible force reshaping you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. But discomfort can also feel overwhelming, like a tide threatening to pull you under. How you talk to yourself during those moments decides whether you sink or rise. Imagine standing at the edge of a moment that feels unbearable. Maybe it's anxiety, physical pain, fear of failure, or uncertainty about the future. The instinct is often to flee, to push away the feeling, or distract yourself from it. But what if, instead of resisting, you learn to talk yourself through it with calm control? What if the voice inside you became your greatest ally, gently guiding you through the storm instead of fueling your panic? The way you narrate your experience to yourself can change everything. Our minds are wired to respond to our internal dialogue, and when that dialogue is calm, rational, and purposeful, it acts like an anchor, stabilizing us amidst the chaos. When it is frantic or negative, it feeds the discomfort, amplifying it until it feels unbearable. Think about a time when you faced discomfort but kept your cool. Maybe you had a difficult conversation, endured a physical challenge, or stayed focused under pressure. What did you tell yourself in those moments? Chances are your internal voice was steady, reassuring, and focused on the next step rather than the pain itself. This is not about ignoring or suppressing pain. It's about changing the narrative. Instead of "I can't handle this," you say "This is hard, but I can manage it one moment at a time." Instead of "Why is this happening to me?" you say "This is part of the process, and I will come through stronger." The first step to mastering this is awareness. Notice how you talk to yourself when discomfort arises. Are your words harsh and judgmental, or kind and supportive? This moment of awareness opens the door to change. Next, practice framing your discomfort with curiosity rather than fear. Ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to teach me? How can I use this experience to grow? When you approach discomfort as a teacher, you shift from victim to student, gaining power and perspective. Another powerful technique is to break discomfort down into manageable pieces. When the whole situation feels overwhelming, focus on the immediate next action. Calmly remind yourself, "I will get through this step first, then the next." This keeps your mind from spiraling and gives you control over what feels uncontrollable. Visualization can also be a tool in your internal dialogue. Picture yourself moving through the discomfort with grace and strength. See the pain as temporary, the challenge as surmountable. Your mind cannot easily distinguish vivid imagery from reality, so this mental rehearsal strengthens your resilience. Remember, your body responds to your words. When you speak with calm control, your breathing slows, your muscles relax, and your heart rate steadies. This physiological response reduces the intensity of discomfort, creating a feedback loop of calm and control. Stories of people who have mastered this skill abound. Athletes pushing past pain barriers, leaders navigating crises without panic, everyday individuals enduring hardships with quiet resolve. All have learned to guide themselves through discomfort with deliberate self-talk. It is essential to personalize your inner dialogue. Find phrases and reminders that resonate deeply with you, that speak directly to your fears and aspirations. Write them down, repeat them daily, and embed them into your mental toolkit. At times, discomfort will feel like an unrelenting storm. You may question your ability to keep talking yourself through it. In those moments, focus simply on your breath. Say softly, "I am here, I am breathing. This moment will pass." Grounding yourself in the present moment deflates the power of discomfort. This skill grows stronger with practice. Start with small discomforts: anxiety before a presentation, frustration during traffic, fatigue during exercise. Use your calm internal voice to navigate these moments. Each success builds confidence for bigger challenges. You have more control over your experience than you realize. Your thoughts shape your emotions influence your actions, and your actions create your reality. By mastering the way you talk yourself through discomfort, you unlock a chain reaction of strength and empowerment. Let go of the idea that discomfort must be avoided or feared. It is an inevitable part of life and a vital ingredient in transformation. Your inner dialogue is the steering wheel that guides you through the roughest terrain. Challenge yourself today to catch your thoughts when discomfort arises. Replace panic with calm, doubt with assurance, and chaos with control. This is your superpower, quiet, invisible, yet unstoppable. Imagine the impact on your life when discomfort no longer derails you but becomes the path forward. Your relationships, your work, your health, your dreams, all will benefit from your ability to navigate discomfort with calm control. Do not wait for the perfect moment to practice this skill. The perfect moment is now, in the midst of the challenge. Speak to yourself as your strongest ally. Offer kindness where there has been judgment. Provide direction where there has been confusion. You will discover a new level of resilience, one that cannot be shaken by external events because it is rooted deeply within your mind. This resilience will transform how you experience stress, pain, and fear. Your future self is waiting on the other side of discomfort. The door is open, walk through it with steady breath and steady words. You are capable beyond measure. Take this power with you. Use it every day, in every moment of unease. Speak to yourself with calm control, and watch as discomfort loses its grip and your true strength emerges. Now, take a deep breath, look forward, and decide to lead your mind through discomfort with unwavering calm. The life you want is waiting for you on the other side. Chapter 11. Reinforce discipline with focused internal commands daily. Discipline is not a grand act reserved for rare moments of heroism. It is the quiet, relentless voice you speak to yourself every single day. This internal dialogue, these focus commands you issue within, are the engine powering your transformation. If you want to change your life, you must first command your mind with unwavering clarity and focus. The words you say inside become the blueprint for your actions, the invisible architecture shaping your destiny. Picture the moments when you drifted, when distractions pulled you away from your goals, or when you allowed excuses to fill your mind like fog. In those moments, what was the message you gave yourself? Was it sharp and clear, or blurred and permissive? Discipline begins with the commands you give yourself before the world even has a chance to interfere. Every morning when you wake up, you stand at a crossroads. The way you speak to yourself in those first minutes sets the tone for the entire day. Do you silently tell yourself, I will stay focused, I will do the work, no matter what? Or do you allow hesitation, doubt, and distraction to creep in before the day has even begun? Focused internal commands are your personal battle cries. They are short, decisive, and rooted in purpose. They bypass the noise of the world and cut straight to the core of your will. When you say to yourself, I choose discipline today, you're not making a vague wish, you're planting a firm flag in your mind that says this is how I operate, no exceptions. Think about how athletes, performers, and successful leaders use internal commands. They don't rely on motivation alone because motivation is fleeting. Instead, they cultivate a practice of giving themselves direct instructions, reinforcing habits through clear mental orders. This is why discipline is not about waiting to feel inspired, it's about commanding yourself into action regardless of feelings. The mind responds best to clarity and repetition. Like training a muscle, repetition builds strength. When you repeat focus commands daily, I finish what I start, I eliminate distractions, I push through resistance, you wire your brain to follow those instructions automatically. Over time, your mind stops negotiating and starts obeying. Consider the power of framing your internal dialogue in the present tense. Saying, I am disciplined rather than, I will be disciplined, places you in a state of action now, not at some vague point in the future. The present tense activates your subconscious to align your behavior with your declaration immediately. There will be days when your resolve feels thin, when temptation calls louder than your commands. This is precisely when your focused internal commands become your lifeline. Instead of giving in, remind yourself with deliberate words, discipline is my choice, not my chance. This simple sentence carries the weight of sovereignty over your actions. The process of reinforcing discipline internally requires honesty. Don't sugarcoat your struggles or let your mind slip into denial. Acknowledge the difficulty but respond with resolve. This is tough, but I am tougher. Such statements do not ignore reality, they embrace it while asserting control. Building this habit means catching yourself at every moment of wavering. When your mind starts to wander toward excuses, immediately correct it with a firm command, focus now. No distractions. When you feel the pull of procrastination, counter with, action is the antidote. These focused commands are small mental victories that accumulate into unstoppable momentum. Your environment will attempt to undermine your discipline. Noise, interruptions, and the pull of instant gratification are designed to steal your attention. But your focused internal commands act like a shield, deflecting these intrusions. The more you practice, the stronger this shield becomes. Imagine your internal voice as a coach who never leaves your side. This coach is relentless but compassionate, demanding your best while believing in your potential. When you lose track, the coach's voice guides you back. You promised yourself. You are capable. Get back to work. One of the greatest benefits of internal commands is how they influence your subconscious mind. Your subconscious is always listening and working, whether you realize it or not. Clear, focused commands plant seeds that grow quietly beneath your awareness, eventually blossoming into disciplined habits that require less effort to maintain. This is how discipline shifts from a constant battle to a natural state. When your internal commands become ingrained, your actions follow effortlessly. You no longer need to wrestle with yourself. Your mind simply follows the path you have laid out. Discipline is a choice repeated daily. Each morning presents a fresh chance to set your internal commands firmly. Each evening offers an opportunity to review and recommit. This ongoing dialogue with yourself builds a foundation so strong that outside challenges cannot shake it. The true power lies not just in commanding yourself, but in believing in the authority of your commands. Speak with conviction, feel the strength behind your words. This belief transforms commands from mere thoughts into commands of your very being. Start by identifying a few core commands that resonate deeply with your goals. Write them down. Repeat them aloud each day until they echo in your mind without effort. Tailor these commands to your personal challenges and victories. When you master this practice, you will notice a profound change. Procrastination loses its grip, distractions fade, and resistance shrinks. Your focus sharpens, your work ethic solidifies. You move through your days with intention and power. Your discipline will ripple outward, influencing every part of your life. Relationships improve because you keep your commitments. Health strengthens because you choose actions that support your body. Finances stabilize as you adhere to responsible habits. The secret's simple, but not easy. Consistent, focused internal commands build discipline, and discipline builds the life you desire. No external motivation lasts forever, but the voice inside you, when trained and respected, never abandons you. Commit today to speaking to yourself with purpose. Make your internal dialogue a daily ritual of strength and clarity. When discomfort arises, when temptation calls, answer with the calm, focused commands that have become your second nature. Remember, discipline is not a destination, but a journey. Each day you reinforce your internal commands, you walk that path more confidently. Each moment of resistance you overcome is a step toward mastery. Do not wait for motivation or ideal circumstances. Command yourself into action now. Your future is shaped by the words you say to yourself today. Speak them clearly. Speak them firmly. Speak them with the power to transform. Take control of your mind through focused internal commands and watch as your life bends to the will of your disciplined spirit. This is your greatest advantage, the unseen force that will carry you through every challenge, every obstacle, every doubt. Begin this practice today. Make it unbreakable. Make it yours. Your life depends on the discipline you reinforce with every focused command you give yourself. The time is now. Take command and become unstoppable. Chapter 12. Use encouraging words to overcome fear fast. Fear can paralyze you faster than any enemy, but the words you choose to say to yourself can shatter it like glass. The moment you face fear, your mind looks for a way out, a signal, a command, a spark of hope that tells you you can survive this. You will conquer this. Encouraging words aren't just nice to hear. They are the most powerful tool to dissolve fear in an instant. If you want to move fast through fear, you must learn how to speak to yourself like a champion, with words that light fire beneath your feet and push you forward when your heart screams to stop. Imagine standing at the edge of something terrifying, a new opportunity, a difficult conversation, a bold decision that could change everything. Your body tenses, your breath quickens, and doubt crashes over your mind like a storm. What if you fail? What if you embarrass yourself? What if you can't handle what's coming next? This is the battlefield where your inner dialogue becomes either your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. Every second, you have a choice. You can drown in fear, letting it control your mind and your actions. Or you can fight back with words that encourage and empower you. Words that remind you of your strength, your resilience, and your purpose. When fear grips you, these words act like a lifeline thrown into turbulent waters, pulling you back to shore and setting you on a path to victory. The science behind this is undeniable. Your brain is wired to react instantly to your self-talk. Negative words fuel fear and anxiety by triggering the fight or flight response. Positive, encouraging words activate the parts of your brain that regulate calm and focus. The difference between freezing in fear and moving forward confidently can be a single phrase whispered to yourself at the right moment. Think of those who have faced unimaginable fears and risen above them. They did not banish fear by pretending it wasn't there. Instead, they spoke words of encouragement, sometimes quietly, sometimes with fierce determination, that reminded them of their capability to endure and triumph. They replaced "I can't do this" with "I will find a way." They shifted "this is too hard" to "I am stronger than this challenge." This shift in language rewires your mental circuits. It trains your mind to see fear not as a stop sign, but as a signal to prepare, to focus, and to act with courage. Encouraging words are the mental commands that prime you for success, even when your body wants to run. Let's explore how you can use this power immediately, starting with the moment fear arrives. Instead of allowing your mind to spiral into worst-case scenarios, pause. Take a breath. Then speak words that remind you who you truly are. Say to yourself, I have faced difficulty before, and I have always come through. Or, this fear is temporary, my strength is permanent. These phrases are not empty affirmations. They are truth statements rooted in your past resilience. Using encouraging words means being specific. General statements like be strong are a start but lack the power of precision. Instead, tell yourself, I can handle this conversation calmly. Or, I am prepared to take this risk because I have planned for it. Specificity grounds your encouragement in reality and boosts your confidence by connecting to concrete actions. Your tone matters too. Speak to yourself like you would to someone you love and respect. Imagine your closest friend is struggling with fear. What would you say? You would not berate them or dismiss their feelings. You would offer kindness, strength, and belief. Your internal voice deserves the same care. Let it be firm but gentle, direct but compassionate. One of the fastest ways to disarm fear with encouraging words is to reframe the situation. Instead of I'm scared to fail, tell yourself, failure is a lesson and I am learning. Replace I don't know if I'm ready with every step I take prepares me more. This subtle change rewires your perception and removes the emotional charge of fear, making it easier to act. Another powerful technique is to visualize your encouraging words in action. Close your eyes and imagine yourself speaking calmly to fear, watching it shrink and lose power as your words grow louder. Picture yourself stepping forward with confidence, fueled by the positive language you have planted in your mind. This mental rehearsal strengthens your ability to use encouraging words when fear shows up unexpectedly. Consistency is key. The more you practice encouraging self-talk, the faster your brain learns to default to these positive messages. Start each day with affirmations tailored to your challenges. When fear appears, pull from this well of strength. Over time, your mindset will shift so dramatically that fear will lose its grip almost immediately. It's important to recognize that fear is not the enemy, it's a natural part of growth. Encouraging words don't eliminate fear, they transform your relationship with it. Instead of shrinking away, you meet fear with steady courage and clarity. This mindset shift is what separates those who are controlled by fear from those who harness it as fuel. You may wonder, what if I don't believe these words at first? That's normal. The truth is, belief often follows action, not the other way around. Speak encouraging words even if you don't fully feel them. Act as if these words are true, and over time, your feelings will catch up. The brain adapts to the messages you feed it, rewiring itself through repetition and conviction. Consider the story of a person who feared public speaking but committed to using encouraging words daily. I am prepared. I have a message worth sharing. Despite initial doubt, these words became a mantra that quieted nerves and sharpened focus. Each time fear surfaced, the words calmed the mind and allowed action. Eventually, fear's power faded, replaced by confidence built on a foundation of positive self-talk. Your goal is to create a personal library of encouraging words and phrases that resonate deeply with you. These become your arsenal against fear, ready to deploy the moment you feel hesitation or anxiety creeping in. Write them down, memorize them, and use them actively. Remember that encouraging words also affect your body. Calm, confident language lowers stress hormones and relaxes muscles. When your mind speaks kindly and firmly, your physical state follows. This connection between mind and body creates a feedback loop that makes facing fear more manageable. Fear often lies about your capabilities. Encouraging words are the truth tellers reminding you of your inner strength and resourcefulness. They cut through the lies fear tells, clearing a path toward action and progress. Let this message sink in. You have more power than fear. The voice inside you, when guided by encouragement, becomes your greatest ally. Fear loses its grip the moment you speak to yourself with unwavering kindness and strength. Start right now. Think of a fear you face today. Craft an encouraging phrase that directly addresses it. Say it aloud with conviction. Feel the shift in your mind and body. This simple act is the fastest way to overcome fear and move boldly forward. Your life will never be free of fear, but it can be free of fear's control. Use encouraging words as your key to unlock this freedom. Speak them often, speak them loud, and watch how fear fades. Way faster than you ever thought possible. This is your moment to transform fear into fuel. Embrace the power of encouraging words and rewrite your story. You deserve to live boldly without hesitation. Take this tool, use it fiercely, and watch yourself rise. If you found this message powerful, don't stop here. Make encouraging self-talk a daily habit. Share it with others who need to hear it. Let this be the spark that ignites your unstoppable courage. The path through fear is paved with words. Choose yours wisely. Choose them now. Chapter 13. Speak about your progress instead of perfection. Perfection is a trap disguised as a goal. Chasing it drains your energy, steals your joy, and paralyzes your progress. But there is a secret path to freedom. Speak about your progress instead of perfection. When you shift your focus from being flawless to moving forward, everything changes. Your mindset shifts, your motivation ignites, and the impossible begins to feel within reach. If you want to unlock relentless momentum and quiet the voice that tells you you're not enough, then this message is your lifeline. Think about how often you've stopped yourself from trying because the standard you set was too high. Maybe you wanted to start a new habit, but the thought of not doing it perfectly kept you frozen. Maybe you delayed a project, convinced it had to be flawless before you showed it to anyone. Or maybe you've beaten yourself up over small mistakes, eroding your confidence with every critical thought. Perfection convinces you to wait, to hesitate, to doubt. It's a relentless thief of time and courage. Now, imagine what would happen if you simply talked about your progress instead. Instead of measuring yourself against an impossible ideal, you measure yourself against your own yesterday. Instead of fearing mistakes, you celebrate the small wins that build your strength and resilience. Instead of silence, you speak out loud about the steps you've taken, no matter how small. This simple shift rewires your brain, fuels your motivation, and sets you on a path where growth is the only option. The journey of progress is messy, unpredictable, and imperfect. But that is its beauty. Every stumble is a lesson. Every challenge is a chance to grow. When you focus on progress, you give yourself permission to be human, to learn, adapt, and improve. You become your own biggest supporter rather than your harshest critic. It's important to recognize that speaking about progress doesn't mean settling for less or lowering your standards. It means embracing the reality that growth is a process, not an event. It means valuing effort over outcome, consistency over perfection. The way you talk about your journey shapes your identity. When you frame your story around progress, you create a narrative of resilience, courage, and determination. Picture a person who started learning a new skill, maybe writing, fitness, or a language. At first, every attempt felt awkward and frustrating. Instead of hiding those early struggles, they openly spoke about how much they were improving each day. They celebrated the fact that they could do one more push-up, write one more paragraph, or hold a simple conversation in another language. Their focus wasn't on being perfect, but on getting better. This mindset kept them going when most would have quit. The magic of speaking about progress lies in its ability to build momentum. When you acknowledge your small victories, you create a positive feedback loop in your brain. This loop releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical that motivates you to keep pushing forward. Each time you share your progress, you reinforce your belief in your ability to change and grow. This belief is the foundation of all lasting success. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others and feeling inadequate because their progress looks faster or smoother. But speaking about your own progress is a powerful way to silence that comparison. When your internal and external dialogue centers on your personal growth, you tune out the noise of others' achievements and focus on your own path. You learn to appreciate your unique pace and celebrate your distinct victories. The words you choose to describe your progress matter immensely. Instead of saying, "I'm not good enough," say, "I'm improving every day." Instead of "I failed," say, "I learned what doesn't work." This reframing softens the harshness of setbacks and highlights your growth. It transforms obstacles into stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Another profound truth is that progress, unlike perfection, is visible and measurable. You can track it. You can feel it. You can point to it with pride. This visibility is critical because it builds confidence and encourages continued effort. When you talk about progress, you're actively documenting your journey, creating proof of your capability that you can revisit on days when motivation wanes. Imagine waking up each morning and telling yourself, "Yesterday, I moved forward. Today, I will move even further." This statement fuels your determination. It reminds you that your journey is ongoing and that every day offers a new chance to grow. It keeps you anchored in action rather than stuck in doubt. There's also a deep psychological relief that comes from focusing on progress instead of perfection. Perfectionism often comes with anxiety, fear of judgment, and procrastination. When you release the need to be perfect and celebrate progress, those burdens lighten. You feel freer to try, experiment, and take risks because you're not bound by unrealistic expectations. It's vital to share your progress with others, not just keep it inside your head. Speaking about your journey to trusted friends, mentors, or even yourself out loud strengthens your commitment and accountability. When you vocalize your progress, you make it real. You solidify it. You invite support and encouragement from your circle, which further fuels your motivation. This habit of speaking about progress is especially powerful when challenges arise. When obstacles threaten to derail you, reminding yourself and others about the progress you've made keeps you grounded. It prevents discouragement and helps you focus on solutions rather than problems. It shifts your perspective from "I can't" to "I have already come this far." The goal is not to run a marathon on day one, but to run a little further than the day before. Each small step counts. By speaking about these incremental gains, you build pride and confidence that propels you forward. The same applies to any pursuit: business, creativity, education, or personal growth. You may feel tempted to keep your progress quiet, especially if you believe it's not enough. But remember that every step forward is a victory worth acknowledging. Your progress story inspires not only yourself, but those around you who may be stuck in their own perfection traps. By sharing your journey openly, you create a ripple effect of motivation and courage. It's also essential to be honest and kind in your progress conversations. Avoid exaggeration or self-deception, but don't diminish your achievements either. Speak with authenticity and gratitude for every forward movement. This balance nurtures self-respect and resilience. They don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect skill. They act now, imperfectly, and improve continuously. Their focus on progress keeps their momentum alive and their spirits unbroken. This mindset frees you from the paralyzing pressure of being flawless. It allows you to embrace your humanity with all its strengths and imperfections. It transforms your internal dialogue from a harsh judge into a compassionate coach cheering you on every step of the way. So today, start speaking about your progress instead of perfection. Notice the difference it makes in your energy, your confidence, and your ability to take action. Celebrate every small win, share your story, and remind yourself that success is built one step at a time. If you want to break free from the chains of perfectionism, this is your starting point. Use your words to honor your journey, fuel your growth, and inspire yourself to keep moving forward relentlessly. Your progress is powerful. Speak it, own it, live it. And remember, this is just the beginning. Keep pushing, keep speaking, keep growing. The best version of you is not perfect. It's persistent. It's moving. It's unstoppable. Let your progress speak louder than your doubts. Chapter 14. Anchor your focus with intentional mental instructions. Your mind is the battlefield where every victory or defeat begins, and anchoring your focus with intentional mental instructions is the ultimate weapon that turns chaos into clarity, doubt into determination, and distraction into unstoppable power. If you want to master your life, nothing is more important than learning how to consciously command your attention. Without this skill, you're at the mercy of every passing thought, impulse, and external noise. But with it, you become the captain of your mind, steering yourself toward your highest potential every single moment. Picture a warrior preparing for battle. Their weapon isn't just steel, it's discipline, strategy, and a focused mind that ignores the distractions around them. This is the essence of anchoring your focus with mental instructions. It's not about hoping your mind will stay on track or waiting for motivation to strike. It's about deliberately telling your brain where to go, what to pay attention to, and what to ignore. This process transforms you from a reactive participant in your day into a proactive creator of your reality. When your mind drifts, as it inevitably will, it's the clear mental commands you've planted that pull you back like an anchor. These instructions act as a compass, a guiding voice that whispers, "Focus here and don't get pulled away." They create mental boundaries that shield your concentration from the endless barrage of distractions that assault you every day, from notifications and interruptions to internal doubts and fears. This ability doesn't come from chance or willpower alone. It requires intention. You must decide what your mind's instructions will be, and you must repeat them with purpose until they become automatic. Imagine a ship anchored firmly in stormy seas. Without the anchor, it's tossed and turned by every wave. With the anchor, it holds steady no matter how fierce the storm. Your mental instructions are that anchor. Consider the power of this practice in your own life. Maybe you've struggled with focusing on your goals because your mind jumps from one worry to another or from one task to the next without finishing anything. Or maybe you find yourself overwhelmed by distractions and lose hours to scattered thoughts. This happens because your brain hasn't been given a clear, consistent command on what to prioritize. When you start giving your mind intentional instructions, something remarkable happens. Your attention becomes a laser beam. Tasks that once felt impossible to concentrate on become manageable. The mental noise quiets, making room for clarity and creativity. This is not magic, it's science. Your brain wiring itself to follow your conscious commands. The words you use as your mental instructions must be precise and powerful. Instead of vague ideas like try to focus, use clear commands such as focus on this one task for 25 minutes, or I will complete this step now without distraction. These simple, direct sentences are easy for your brain to understand and follow. They give your mind a target and a time frame, reducing the wandering that sabotages productivity. Repetition is key. Just as athletes repeat drills to build muscle memory, you must repeat your mental instructions daily. Say them aloud, write them down, or silently affirm them in your mind. This repetition creates neural pathways, making focus your default state rather than an occasional achievement. Over time, these instructions become an unconscious part of how your brain operates. The emotional charge behind your instructions matters too. When you connect your mental commands to your deeper desires and values, your brain listens more intently. Saying, "Focus now to build my future," ties the instruction to your purpose, fueling your motivation. Your emotions act like fuel for your mental engine, accelerating your ability to concentrate and persevere. One of the most powerful ways to anchor your focus is to create mental if-then statements. For example, if I feel distracted, then I will take 3 deep breaths and return to this task. These pre-planned responses create automatic habits that prevent your mind from spiraling into distraction or procrastination. They serve as guardrails that keep you aligned with your priorities even when your willpower falters. It's important to understand that anchoring your focus isn't about forcing your mind to work harder, it's about training it to work smarter. The brain is naturally drawn to novelty and distraction, but with consistent mental instructions, you teach it what deserves your attention and what doesn't. This training rewires your cognitive habits and increases your mental stamina. Imagine your daily routine infused with these intentional instructions. Before starting your work, you tell yourself, "I will focus on this project for 90 minutes with no interruptions." When your mind tries to wander, you remind yourself, "Stay on task now. Distraction can wait." These commands create structure within your day that supports your goals. You may wonder how to develop these mental instructions if your mind feels chaotic or overwhelmed right now. Start simple. Choose one clear instruction related to your biggest distraction or biggest goal. Practice it daily until it becomes natural. Then add more. Like building a muscle, focus grows stronger with consistent effort. The beauty of intentional mental instructions is that they empower you to reclaim control over your internal world. No longer are you a victim of your scattered thoughts or impulsive feelings. You become a deliberate architect of your attention. This shift impacts every area of your life: work, relationships, health, and creativity, because focus is the foundation of achievement. When you anchor your focus well, stress diminishes because you're no longer juggling too many things at once. Your mind feels lighter, clearer, and more capable. Decision-making improves because you're more present and aware. Your productivity skyrockets because you're applying your energy where it matters most. There's a profound sense of peace that comes from knowing you can command your mind anytime, anywhere. Even when external chaos surrounds you, your internal instructions keep you grounded. This mental resilience becomes your secret weapon against overwhelm and burnout. Stories of successful people reveal a common thread: they have mastered the art of mental anchoring. Whether it's an athlete focusing on each move, an artist immersed in creation, or a leader making critical decisions, their minds are disciplined through intentional commands. They don't leave their focus to chance, they engineer it with purpose. This is the same power you hold. It's not reserved for the elite or the gifted. It's available to anyone willing to practice. Every mental instruction you anchor today builds the foundation for a future where your focus is sharp, your actions deliberate, and your results extraordinary. Begin now by deciding what your first intentional mental instruction will be. Make it clear, specific, and tied to your deepest why. Repeat it until it echoes in your mind. Watch how it transforms your ability to stay present, resist distraction, and accomplish what once seemed out of reach. Your mind is a tool, powerful, adaptable, and ready to serve you. But it must be guided with intention. Anchoring your focus through deliberate mental instructions is how you seize control. It's how you shape your reality. It's how you win your day, your goals, and your life. Don't wait for the perfect moment or perfect motivation. Start speaking to your mind now with clarity and authority. Command your focus with intention. Anchor it deeply. Let this be the moment your scattered thoughts became your greatest strength. Your future depends on what you choose to focus on today. Choose wisely. Choose intentionally. Choose to anchor your mind with powerful instructions that lead you straight to your highest self. The time is now. Own your focus. Own your life. Chapter 15. Turn frustration into fuel through calming self-talk. Frustration is not your enemy. It's the secret fuel waiting to ignite your greatest breakthroughs if only you learn to harness it with calm and clarity. Every time you feel that tight knot in your chest, that surge of impatience, or the simmering anger that threatens to consume you, you stand at a crossroads. Let frustration control you or turn it into unstoppable energy that pushes you forward. Imagine for a moment the last time you felt utterly stuck, when things weren't going your way, when obstacles piled up, and the world seemed intent on testing your limits. That burning frustration could have shattered your focus, drained your energy, and sent you spiraling into negativity. But it didn't have to. What if instead you had used that fire not to burn out, but to power up? This transformation doesn't happen by accident. It requires mastering the art of calming self-talk, speaking to yourself with kindness, understanding, and strategic encouragement when your emotions are at their peak. Most people react to frustration by yelling inside their minds, doubting themselves, or giving in to despair. But you can choose to become your own calm voice amid the storm, guiding yourself back to control. When frustration hits, your brain floods your body with stress hormones, making it hard to think clearly or act wisely. The natural impulse is to lash out or shut down, but calming self-talk is the tool that breaks this cycle. It's the gentle, deliberate language you use to tell your mind, "I'm okay. I can handle this. This is temporary." These words don't just soothe emotions, they redirect your mental energy from chaos to clarity. Consider the power of simply acknowledging your frustration without judgment. Instead of pushing it away or trying to ignore it, say to yourself, "I'm feeling frustrated, and that's normal." This small act of acceptance disarms the intensity of the emotion. It's like shining a light into a dark room. The fear of the unknown fades when you name what you feel. This creates space for calmness to enter. From there, you can transform that raw emotion into fuel by reminding yourself of your strength and resilience. Tell yourself, "This challenge is a signal that I'm pushing my limits, and growth happens when I persist." When frustration is reframed as a signpost rather than a roadblock, it becomes motivation, not misery. The words you choose shape your inner landscape. If your self-talk is harsh and critical, frustration will spiral into self-doubt and paralysis. But if you speak with calm encouragement, your mind shifts gears towards solutions. Phrases like "I am learning," "I will find a way," and "every step forward counts" reprogram your brain to focus on progress instead of defeat. This isn't about blind positivity or ignoring problems. It's about honest, compassionate communication with yourself that keeps you steady and proactive. When frustration feels like a storm, calming self-talk is the anchor that keeps your mind from being swept away. Let's dive deeper into how you can develop this powerful habit. First, recognize your personal frustration triggers, those specific situations or thoughts that tend to ignite your anger or anxiety. Awareness is the first step toward mastery. When you know what sparks your frustration, you can prepare mental phrases to deploy the moment you sense tension rising. Next, practice pausing before reacting. This split-second delay is where calming self-talk works its magic. Instead of immediately responding to frustration with blame or worry, take a breath and internally say, "Pause. This moment is mine to control." This brief pause interrupts the automatic emotional reaction and gives your rational mind a chance to engage. In that space, repeat your chosen calming statements. It might be as simple as "I am safe" or "I can handle this," or a more personalized phrase that resonates deeply with your goals and values. These words act like a shield, blocking the destructive energy of frustration and channeling it toward calm focus. You can also use imagery combined with calming self-talk to deepen the effect. Visualize frustration as a wave rising inside you. Instead of fighting it, imagine yourself riding the wave skillfully, using its power to propel you forward. As you say your calming phrases, picture the wave carrying you toward your objective rather than knocking you down. Over time, this mental training rewires your brain's response to frustration. Your nervous system learns that frustration is not a threat, but a signal to activate your inner calm and strength. You become more resilient, able to face setbacks without losing momentum or self-confidence. Real-life examples of this transformation abound. Athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, and leaders all encounter frustration constantly. What sets the most successful apart is their ability to talk themselves through tough moments with calm resolve. They don't ignore their emotions, they respect them, manage them, and use them as stepping stones. Imagine an entrepreneur launching a new business. Frustration bubbles up when sales stall or problems arise. Instead of spiraling into panic, the entrepreneur pauses and reminds themselves every challenge is an opportunity to learn and improve. This calming self-talk turns frustration into a strategic mindset, fueling persistence rather than despair. This skill is equally vital in everyday life. When you face conflict, delays, or mistakes, calming self-talk keeps your emotions from sabotaging your decisions. It helps you respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Over time, this habit fosters emotional intelligence, stronger relationships, and better mental health. If you're wondering how to start right now, begin with a simple daily practice. Each morning, choose a calming phrase that speaks to your current challenges or aspirations. Repeat it several times, imagining yourself embodying that calm strength throughout the day. When frustration arises, bring that phrase back to your mind as a steadying force. You might also keep a journal of your frustrations and the calming self-talk you used. Reflect on what worked and what didn't. This reflection deepens your understanding of your emotional patterns and strengthens your ability to intervene effectively. Remember, calming self-talk is not a one-time fix, it's a lifelong practice. Like any skill, it grows stronger with repetition and dedication. The more you nurture this inner dialogue, the more naturally you'll transform frustration into fuel. The consequences of mastering this ability ripple through every aspect of your life. Your productivity soars because you waste less energy on negative emotions. Your creativity blossoms because your mind is freer to explore rather than being trapped by irritation. Your confidence builds because you prove to yourself repeatedly that you can handle adversity with grace. This practice also protects your physical health. Chronic frustration and stress damage your body, but calming self-talk activates your parasympathetic nervous system, reducing tension and promoting healing. Your body and mind work in harmony when you treat frustration as a manageable challenge rather than an overwhelming threat. You hold within you the power to transform frustration into one of your greatest allies. It all begins with the words you say to yourself, the voice inside your head. Will that voice be a harsh critic, or will it be your calmest, most encouraging coach? Choose the latter. Speak to yourself with kindness and strength. Turn each frustrating moment into an opportunity to practice resilience. Build a mental habit that fuels your progress instead of draining it. Start today by catching yourself in moments of frustration. Pause, breathe, and speak your calming instructions. Watch how this simple shift reshapes your experience and propels you toward your goals with renewed energy. The path to mastery is paved with moments like this. Moments when you refuse to be defeated by frustration and instead use it to light your fire. When you do, you unlock a reservoir of power that few ever tap into. Your future depends on the relationship you cultivate with your own mind. Choose to be your calmest, strongest ally. Turn frustration into fuel through the transformative power of calming self-talk. Don't wait for frustration to overwhelm you again. Prepare your mind now. Train your voice inside to guide you steadily through every challenge. The strength you seek is already inside. You just need to speak to it clearly. Let this be the moment you stop reacting and start responding. You have the power to change your story, one calming word at a time. Rise above frustration and fuel your success with calm control. Your journey to unstoppable focus and growth begins here. Chapter 16, Guide Your Actions with Clear, Empowering Language. The words you choose today are not just sounds or scribbles, they are the invisible architects of your destiny, the compass that guides every decision and shapes every action you take. If you don't master the language you use to talk to yourself and about your goals, you are handing over control of your life to chance and confusion. But when you learn to guide your actions with clear, empowering language, you ignite a chain reaction that propels you toward success with unstoppable momentum. There's a reason why some people seem to move through life with a sense of certainty and purpose, while others flounder, distracted by doubts and distractions. The difference often lies in how they speak to themselves and how they frame their intentions. Clear, empowering language is like a direct line to your subconscious, giving precise instructions that your mind and body can follow without hesitation. Vague or negative language creates hesitation and confusion. Sharp, confident words create clarity and unstoppable drive. Imagine waking up each morning knowing exactly what you want, why you want it, and how you will make it happen, spoken not just as a fleeting thought, but as firm, commanding language that activates your mind and body. This isn't about forcing yourself to be perfect or pretending everything is easy. It's about choosing words that empower you to take decisive action even when obstacles appear. Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine struggled for years with procrastination and self-doubt. She often said things like, "I'll try to do this," or "maybe I can get around to it later." These vague phrases created an internal permission slip to delay and hesitate. One day, she decided to change the way she talked to herself. She started using clear, direct statements like, "I will complete this task today," or "I am capable of handling this challenge." The impact was profound. The simple act of changing her language shifted her mindset and her productivity skyrocketed. She wasn't just talking differently, she was commanding her brain to follow a new set of rules. Your brain is a highly responsive instrument. When you issue it precise instructions, it mobilizes your focus, energy, and creativity to execute. When your instructions are unclear or filled with doubt, your brain wastes energy on confusion and indecision. Clear, empowering language acts like a sharp GPS signal, guiding your mental and physical resources straight to your target. How do you develop this skill? Start by paying attention to how you talk about your goals and tasks. Replace wishy-washy language with clear, actionable statements. Instead of "I hope to start exercising," say "I will exercise for 30 minutes today at 7 a.m. Instead of "I need to be more disciplined," say "I am disciplined and I commit to my plan." Notice the difference in your internal response when you use these stronger statements. Empowering language is rooted in certainty and ownership. Avoid passive phrases that remove your control, like "I have to" or "I should." Instead, use active ownership phrases such as "I choose to," "I decide," or "I commit to." This subtle shift puts you in the driver's seat and reinforces your responsibility for your actions. There is a psychological principle behind this. When you say "I will" or "I am," you create a mental contract with yourself. Your brain treats these statements as commitments, triggering motivation and the search for ways to fulfill the promise. This internal contract is far more effective than vague goals or hopes. Clarity in language also combats overwhelm. When faced with complex or intimidating projects, your mind can become paralyzed. But breaking down your intentions into simple, clear commands dispels confusion. Instead of thinking, "I have so much to do," tell yourself, "I will complete the first step, organizing my workspace by 10 a.m. This specificity reduces anxiety and creates immediate momentum. Another key element is positive framing. Language that focuses on what you want to do, not what you want to avoid, directs your mind toward growth. Instead of "I won't be lazy today," say "I will be productive today." Positive statements engage your brain's reward system, making it easier to stay motivated. Let me share another example: an athlete preparing for competition. When nervous, many athletes fall into negative self-talk. "Don't mess up," "don't lose." These phrases fixate the mind on failure, increasing anxiety. Champions replace these with empowering affirmations: "I perform at my best," "I trust my training." This clear, confident language not only calms nerves, but also primes the body to act with precision and strength. Empowering language isn't just for big goals, it works in daily interactions too. How you speak about yourself in conversations or in your own mind influences your self-esteem and confidence. If you constantly downplay your abilities or apologize for taking space, you diminish your presence. Speak clearly and assertively about your needs, your boundaries, and your achievements. This builds internal respect and commands external respect. The habit of guiding your actions with empowering language rewires your mental habits. It shifts your mindset from one of passivity and reactivity to active leadership over your own life. Every time you give yourself a clear instruction, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with focus, determination, and success. If you want to get practical, start with a morning ritual of setting your intentions in clear, commanding language. Speak aloud or write down exactly what you will do and how you will do it. Use present tense statements that emphasize your control and commitment. Feel the words as you say them, let them resonate in your body and mind. As you go through your day, pause before starting any task and give yourself a precise verbal instruction. This act centers your attention and aligns your actions with your goals. When distractions or doubts arise, return to your empowering language to recalibrate your focus. This approach also enhances accountability. When you frame your actions with clear language, it's easier to track progress and hold yourself responsible. Vague intentions allow excuses to creep in, clear commands demand follow-through. On the flip side, beware of language traps that undermine your power. Phrases like I can't, I'm not good enough, or it's too hard program defeat into your subconscious. Challenge these thoughts by flipping them into empowering alternatives. For example, I am learning to improve, I am capable of overcoming challenges, and I can break this down into manageable steps. Language has the unique power to shape your reality. It influences how you feel, how you think, and ultimately, how you act. By mastering clear and empowering language, you take control of the narrative inside your head and in your life. This mastery is not about perfection, but progress. You won't get it right every time, and that's okay. The key is persistence and awareness, catching yourself when your language drifts into doubt or vagueness, and gently steering it back to clarity and empowerment. Every great achievement starts with a clear command. A builder doesn't say, maybe I'll lay bricks today. They say, I will lay this brick now. That decisive statement directs action and creates momentum brick by brick. As you cultivate this habit, you'll notice a shift in how you approach challenges. Your mindset will become more focused and determined, your confidence more grounded. You'll stop procrastinating and start executing with purpose. Your life is the sum of the language you use to guide it. Choose words that lift you up, that define you as capable, committed, and unstoppable. When your internal dialogue becomes a source of strength, your external world will follow. Right now, take a moment to speak to yourself with clarity and power. Tell yourself exactly what you will do today and how you will do it. Let those words echo in your mind and fuel your actions. This is the starting point of a new chapter in your life, a chapter where you lead yourself with intention and strength, where your language becomes the foundation of your success. Don't let your words drift aimlessly. Anchor them in purpose. Speak with clarity. Act with power. Your future self is waiting for you to claim this mastery. Start guiding your actions with clear, empowering language today and watch your life transform in ways you never imagined. Now go forward with confidence because the language you choose will lead you to the life you deserve. Chapter 17. Stop destructive thoughts with firm verbal redirection. Your mind can be your greatest ally or your fiercest enemy, and the difference lies in how you respond the moment destructive thoughts start to invade. Imagine having the power to stop those toxic voices dead in their tracks, rewiring your mental patterns instantly, and reclaiming control over your inner world with an unshakable, firm verbal command. This is not just a skill, it's a game-changing superpower that can transform your life. Everyone battles inner negativity, those sneaky, corrosive thoughts that whisper doubts, fuel fears, and cripple motivation. They are relentless, creeping into your mind when you least expect it, eroding your confidence and sabotaging your progress. But what if you could stop them the moment they appear? What if you could wield your words like a shield, firmly redirecting your mind away from destruction and towards strength? Think about the last time a negative thought took hold. Maybe it told you you're not good enough or you'll never succeed. Those thoughts have a way of repeating themselves, looping like a broken record inside your head, pulling you deeper into frustration or despair. Left unchecked, they become self-fulfilling prophecies shaping your actions and your reality. Yet, the moment you become aware of their presence, you have a choice, a moment of power where you decide what stays and what leaves. Let me share a story. A man I know struggled with constant self-criticism. Every time he made a mistake, his mind launched into a barrage of harsh judgments. It wasn't until he learned the technique of firm verbal redirection that he began to break free. Instead of sinking into the negativity, he would stop himself mid-thought and say aloud, "Stop. This is not true. I choose to focus on solutions." That simple yet powerful interruption snapped him out of the spiral, giving his brain a moment to reset and look for constructive paths forward. The first step in mastering this technique is awareness. You must catch destructive thoughts as they arise, recognizing them without judgment. This requires practice and mindfulness. When you hear those toxic words in your mind, don't engage or feed them. Instead, issue a firm verbal command, like a sharp no or enough, to halt the momentum. Why does this work? Because your brain reacts to commands in a way similar to how a dog responds to a firm no. A clear, authoritative signal interrupts the pattern and forces a cognitive reset. It pulls you out of automatic negativity and into conscious choice. This isn't about lying to yourself or sugarcoating reality. It's about redirecting your mental energy toward empowerment and action. For example, if your mind says, "I'm going to fail," respond with, "I will learn from every challenge and keep moving forward." This replacement rewires your neural pathways, building new habits of resilience. Another critical element is tone. The firmness in your verbal redirection matters. Soft or hesitant commands won't break the hold of destructive thoughts. You need to speak with conviction, as if you're setting a boundary no one can cross. This firmness sends a clear message to your subconscious that negativity is not welcome. Imagine this as mental martial arts, a swift, precise strike that disables your inner critic before it can do damage. It takes practice, but with repetition, it becomes an instinctive response, a reflex that protects your peace of mind. It's also important to understand that destructive thoughts often stem from deeper fears or unmet needs. While firm verbal redirection stops the immediate threat, you'll need to address the underlying causes through reflection and growth. But the power of stopping negativity in its tracks gives you the calm and clarity to do that work without being overwhelmed. Let's talk about the practical side. Start by identifying your most common destructive thoughts. Write them down. Then craft firm, clear redirection statements to counter each one. Practice saying them aloud with authority until they feel natural. During the day, when negativity arises, catch yourself early and say your redirection phrase immediately. This interrupts the cycle before it grows. Over time, your mind will start anticipating this response and reduce the frequency of negative intrusions. This technique works in every area of life, from battling self-doubt in your career to overcoming anxiety in social situations. The more you use firm verbal redirection, the more you reclaim your mental freedom. Another powerful insight is that your inner voice shapes your identity. When destructive thoughts dominate, they chip away at your self-image, convincing you that you are weak or unworthy. Firm verbal redirection protects and rebuilds your self-concept by refusing to accept lies. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, hearing the worst insults you've ever faced. Now imagine holding up your hand and saying, "Stop, I am more than these words." This act of verbal boundary setting inside your mind creates a fortress of self-respect that no negative thought can breach. Sometimes destructive thoughts disguise themselves as caution or concern. They say things like "be careful" or "you'll fail" or "don't get your hopes up." These voices can feel protective but still limit your growth. Use firm verbal redirection here as well, not to dismiss wisdom but to redirect focus from fear to action. I will proceed wisely but boldly. You may ask, what if the thoughts are too strong or persistent? Start with small battles. Even if you can stop one negative thought a day, that's progress. Build from there. Consistency is key. Visualize yourself as a gatekeeper of your mind, deciding who enters and who doesn't. Your words are the key tool. The more assertive and consistent you are, the stronger your mental defenses become. This method also increases your emotional resilience. Each time you stop destructive thoughts, you reduce emotional reactivity and regain composure. This calmness allows clearer thinking and better decision-making. A common misconception is that trying to suppress thoughts only makes them stronger. Firm verbal redirection doesn't suppress, it interrupts and replaces. It acknowledges the thought's presence but refuses to let it control you. You have the power to change the narrative inside your head. Your mental landscape is not fixed. Every moment is a new opportunity to speak differently to yourself. Developing this skill rewires your brain for freedom and strength. It turns you from a passive victim of your thoughts into an active commander of your mind. Here's a simple exercise to begin right now. The next time a negative thought arises, stop everything and say firmly, "Enough." Then follow immediately with a positive statement like, "I choose peace and progress." Notice how this shifts your energy and focus. Remember, your mind listens carefully to your tone and intent. Speak with confidence and resolve, as if commanding a loyal soldier. The journey isn't about never having destructive thoughts again. Those will come and go. It's about never letting them settle and take root. This is the foundation of mental mastery and emotional freedom. When you stop destructive thoughts with firm verbal redirection, you open space for growth, creativity, and joy. Now is your moment to reclaim your mind. Start using your words as powerful tools of redirection, stop negativity before it grows, and watch how your life transforms. Take this power seriously, practice it relentlessly. Your mental peace and future success depend on it. Your mind is your battleground. Your words are your weapons. Use them wisely and with unwavering strength. Make this your new habit and experience the freedom of a mind that serves you, not sabotages you. Go forward with confidence, knowing you control the narrative inside your head and the direction of your life. Chapter 18, Speak your goals aloud to make them real. Your dreams don't become real until you say them out loud with courage and clarity. Speaking your goals aloud isn't just a habit, it's a powerful declaration that bridges the gap between thought and reality. The moment your goal leaves your mind and escapes through your voice, it takes on a new energy, transforming from a vague wish into a concrete mission. We all have ideas buried deep inside, ambitions so large they scare us, plans so bold they seem impossible. Yet those ideas remain locked away in silence, hidden in the shadows of self-doubt or fear. But what if the key to unlocking that potential is as simple as speaking your goals out loud every single day? When you vocalize your aspirations, you ignite a chain reaction inside your brain and in the universe around you. Let me tell you about a young woman named Maya. She wanted to build her own business but kept her vision secret, afraid of judgment or failure. One day, a mentor challenged her to say her goal out loud every morning: "I will launch my business and impact thousands." At first, it felt awkward. But as days passed, the words began to embed themselves deeply in her mind. The simple act of speaking her goal aloud shifted her energy, boosted her confidence, and focused her daily actions. Within a year, Maya's dream was no longer just a whisper, it was her reality. Speaking your goals aloud serves multiple powerful purposes. First, it clarifies your intention. When thoughts float inside your head, they are often scattered and unclear. Saying them aloud forces your brain to organize your desires, making them tangible and specific. The more vivid and detailed the spoken goal, the more your mind understands what to pursue. Second, your voice is a tool of accountability. When you say a goal aloud, you make a silent pact with yourself. It's no longer a secret wish, it becomes a commitment that demands your attention. Hearing your own words strengthens your responsibility to act. Third, speaking your goals aloud activates your emotional centers. When you voice your ambitions, you engage your feelings, hope, excitement, determination, which fuel your motivation and perseverance. These emotions are crucial because they give you the energy to keep moving forward when challenges arise. Our brains are wired to respond to repetition and emotion. When you repeatedly state your goals with passion, you build mental pathways that align your thoughts, feelings, and actions. This neural reinforcement helps you develop habits consistent with your vision. When you share your aspirations, even privately, your subconscious becomes alert to opportunities and resources that match your mission. People around you may notice your clarity and passion, opening doors that were once invisible. It's common to feel self-conscious when first speaking your goals aloud. You might worry about sounding arrogant or afraid of failure. Remember, this practice isn't about boasting, it's about internalizing your purpose. You are teaching your mind and spirit what matters most. Start simple. Choose a clear, concise goal and say it out loud every morning and night. Use present tense as if you already possess the achievement. For example, "I am confident and successful in my career," or "I am creating financial freedom." This approach rewires your subconscious to accept these truths as reality. To deepen the effect, add emotion. Feel the joy, pride, or relief associated with achieving your goal while you speak. Emotion is the fuel that makes your words magnetic. Over time, you'll notice subtle shifts. Your mindset becomes more positive, your focus sharpens, and you begin to recognize opportunities aligned with your spoken intentions. This is the power of verbalizing your goals, the invisible transformation that drives visible success. Let's address a common question: what if I don't believe my goal is possible yet? Speaking it aloud can help with that. It's a form of mental rehearsal that builds belief gradually. Your mind adapts to new possibilities when exposed repeatedly to confident declarations. You might also find that speaking your goals aloud helps you identify obstacles early. Hearing your aspirations gives you clarity on what might stand in your way, allowing you to plan solutions proactively rather than reactively. Consistency is the secret ingredient. The more often you vocalize your goals, the stronger their hold on your mind and heart. Make it a ritual before work, after waking, or anytime you need a boost. Protect this time fiercely, as it's an investment in your future. Some people extend this practice by sharing their goals with a trusted friend or mentor. Externalizing your intentions adds an extra layer of accountability and support, making your path clearer and less lonely. Visualize your spoken words as seeds planted in fertile soil. With care and repetition, those seeds grow roots and sprout into real achievements. The sound of your voice becomes the rain and sunlight, nurturing your success. It's also worth noting how speaking your goals aloud combats fear and procrastination. Fear thrives in silence and secrecy, feeding on your doubts. When you speak your goals, you shine light on them, weakening fear's grip and empowering action. Remember, the universe responds to clarity and energy. Your spoken goals send vibrations that ripple outward, attracting the circumstances, people, and resources needed to realize them. This is not magic, it's a psychological and energetic law that has been proven countless times by those who practice it. Imagine waking each day and confidently declaring your goals as a way of declaring who you are becoming. This daily affirmation sets the tone for your mindset and behavior, shaping your reality in powerful ways. In conclusion, speaking your goals aloud transforms silent dreams into vibrant realities. It clarifies your intentions, boosts accountability, engages emotion, sharpens focus, and invites opportunity. It rewires your brain for success and builds unwavering belief. Start this simple yet revolutionary habit today. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and say your goals with conviction. Watch how your inner world shifts, how your actions align, and how your life begins to change in ways you once thought impossible. Your voice is more powerful than you realize. Use it to make your goals real. Speak boldly, speak clearly, speak often, and then live in a way that honors those words. Take this moment to commit. Speak your goal aloud right now. Feel the energy rise. Know that with every word, you are building the foundation of your future success. Keep speaking, keep believing, keep becoming. The time to make your dreams real is now. Your voice is the key. Unlock your destiny. Chapter 19 celebrates small wins by acknowledging your growth. Every giant leap in life is built on countless tiny steps that often go unnoticed, and that's where true transformation hides. If you want to become unstoppable, you must learn the art of celebrating the small wins, because those moments are the fuel for your bigger victories. Growth is not a sudden explosion, it's a steady, quiet buildup of progress, and acknowledging every inch of that progress rewires your brain to crave more success and resilience. Too often, people overlook the small achievements on their journey, focusing only on distant milestones or ultimate goals. But this mindset steals your motivation and blinds you to how far you've actually come. Imagine running a marathon and only cheering at the finish line, ignoring every mile conquered along the way. Would you have the energy to keep running? The truth is that every small win deserves recognition, because it is proof that you are moving forward, evolving, and becoming stronger. Think about the story of Marcus. He struggled for years to improve his physical health, but felt discouraged by the slow pace of change. One day, a coach suggested he start celebrating every single positive action, each healthy meal, each workout completed, every extra hour of sleep. At first, Marcus found it silly to celebrate such small things. But when he shifted his focus, he realized his attitude toward his goals transformed completely. Those small celebrations built momentum. His motivation soared, and the progress he once thought insignificant became the stepping stones to remarkable success. Celebrating small wins doesn't mean becoming complacent or satisfied with mediocrity. It means recognizing that success is a journey filled with stages, each worthy of gratitude. Every positive change you make, no matter how minor it seems, is an affirmation that you are capable and improving. This acknowledgement sparks a chain reaction in your brain, releasing dopamine, the reward chemical that reinforces good behavior and boosts your drive. When you consciously honor your progress, you shift your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. This shift rewires your mindset, moving it from scarcity and frustration to abundance and empowerment. You start to see yourself as someone who grows, adapts, and overcomes, not as a person who fails or falls short. Here's the psychological secret behind celebrating small wins. It strengthens your identity. When you recognize yourself as a person who succeeds at the little things, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of achieving bigger goals. This identity shift is vital because what you believe about yourself shapes your actions and, ultimately, your destiny. Many people get trapped in perfectionism or the all-or-nothing mindset. They wait for perfect conditions or massive results before allowing themselves to feel proud. This mindset is a motivation killer. Waiting for perfection means you never celebrate, and when you don't celebrate, you don't reinforce progress. The vicious cycle continues, draining your energy and willpower. Instead, train yourself to spot and savor small victories. It could be as simple as waking up early consistently for a week, writing a paragraph of your book, resisting a bad habit for a day, or even smiling through a tough moment. These instances might appear insignificant, but they are the foundation of lasting change. Life will throw obstacles your way, and setbacks will test your resolve. When you have a habit of recognizing progress, no matter how minor, you build an inner reservoir of confidence to draw from during hard times. Your mind remembers that you have moved forward before, and it will keep pushing you toward progress. Try this. Create a daily ritual to acknowledge your growth. At the end of each day, take a moment to list 3 things you did well or improvements you made. Write them down, say them aloud, or share them with someone who supports you. This simple practice rewires your brain to search for positives, creating a feedback loop of motivation and self-love. When you express gratitude for your progress, you amplify your emotional connection to your achievements. Gratitude shifts your perspective from frustration to appreciation. It reminds you that growth is happening even when it feels slow or invisible. Many successful people credit their accomplishments to this principle of acknowledging incremental progress. They understand that success is rarely sudden or dramatic, but emerges through consistent, small efforts. It's the daily push, the little habits, the tiny victories that accumulate to build empires. Think about the way muscles grow. No bodybuilder expects to lift the heaviest weight on the first day. Progress happens in gradual increments, and every rep matters. When you celebrate every extra pound lifted or every additional push-up, you reinforce your commitment to growth. Your mindset matches the process of growth in your body, and the same applies to your goals and dreams. There is also an emotional component to celebrating small wins. It creates joy and excitement, feelings often reserved only for big successes. By inviting celebration into your daily life, you train your brain to associate progress with positive emotions. This emotional reward system makes it easier to return to your goals with enthusiasm rather than dread or obligation. They overlook their personal milestones and focus on what others have already achieved. Celebrating your own small wins helps you break free from comparison traps. It anchors you in your unique path and honors your pace. When you start seeing your growth, you naturally become more compassionate with yourself. You stop beating yourself up for setbacks or imperfections and instead celebrate your persistence and effort. This kindness towards yourself is a powerful source of motivation. Imagine a future where every step you take forward is a victory lap. Picture yourself recognizing how far you've come, not just how far you still have to go. That mindset change will transform frustration into fuel, overwhelm into clarity, and doubt into determination. You don't have to wait until you reach a major goal to celebrate. The magic happens when you honor every stage, every step, and every small win. Each celebration is a building block, a source of energy and proof that you are capable of growth. Your journey is unique, filled with moments of quiet progress. These moments deserve your attention, your respect, and your gratitude. They hold the power to transform your mindset and propel you forward with unstoppable momentum. Start today by paying attention to the little things. Notice the small victories hiding in your daily routine. Maybe you stayed focused longer, avoided a negative thought, or learned something new. Whatever it is, recognize it fully. The process of celebrating small wins is also a powerful reminder that growth is ongoing. There is no finish line where your effort stops. Instead, life becomes a series of meaningful moments where you continuously evolve. This understanding frees you from the pressure of perfection and allows you to enjoy the ride. As you embrace this practice, you will find joy in progress itself, not just in outcomes. This joy is sustainable and deeply fulfilling. It creates a mindset of abundance where success is always within reach. Now, imagine sharing your small wins with someone you trust. Sharing amplifies your sense of achievement and invites encouragement. It strengthens your support system and keeps you accountable. You are more than the sum of your setbacks or failures. You are the accumulation of every positive step you have taken. Celebrate that truth fiercely. There will be days when progress feels invisible and motivation wanes. Those are the days when the habit of acknowledging small wins becomes your anchor. It reminds you that growth never really stops, even if it slows down. This mindset will shift your entire relationship with success. Instead of chasing elusive goals, you will savor the journey and build resilience. You will see yourself as a person who creates momentum through consistent effort. Take a moment now to reflect on a small win you've had recently. It might feel insignificant, but it is a victory. Honor it, savor it, and allow it to motivate you toward the next step. Your progress is a story worth telling, one that deserves celebration. Let that story fuel your drive and inspire others around you. The path to greatness is paved with small wins. When you learn to acknowledge them, you tap into a wellspring of motivation, confidence, and joy. Start this practice today. Celebrate your growth. Fuel your momentum. Watch how your life transforms through the power of small, consistent victories. You hold the key to your own success. The journey is yours. Make it extraordinary by valuing every single step forward. Keep going. Keep growing. And never stop celebrating the incredible progress you are making every day. Chapter 20. Commit to speaking to yourself like a true friend. What if the voice inside your head, the one that speaks to you every moment, is the single most powerful influence on your destiny? What if the way you talk to yourself right now could either shatter your confidence or build unshakable strength? Imagine if you committed to treating yourself with the kindness, respect, and encouragement you'd give your closest friend. That shift alone could change everything. We all know how harsh our inner critic can be. That relentless voice picks apart every mistake, magnifies every flaw, and whispers doubts that stop us in our tracks. Yet, when a true friend speaks to us, their words uplift, support, and inspire. The problem is, many people reserve that kindness for others but deny it to themselves. What if you became your own best friend, someone who offers understanding and encouragement even when things get tough? I want you to think of a moment when you made a mistake, faced rejection, or stumbled. How did you speak to yourself? Did you say something cruel, like, "You always mess up," or "You're not good enough"? That voice is toxic, and it steals your energy and self-worth. Now imagine if instead you said, "It's okay to mess up, everyone does. I'm learning and growing." That simple change in tone can dismantle fear and open the door to courage. Many people underestimate the power of self-talk because it's invisible and constant. It happens so automatically that we rarely question it. But the words you repeat in your mind become the foundation of your beliefs, your confidence, and your actions. Speaking to yourself like a true friend means intentionally choosing words that build you up rather than tear you down. This kind of commitment requires self-awareness. You have to catch yourself when negativity creeps in. It takes practice to replace harsh judgments with compassion. But every time you do, you're rewiring your brain, strengthening new neural pathways that support resilience and self-love. Here's a powerful truth: your mind is listening, always. It doesn't care if your words are spoken out loud or whispered silently inside. When you constantly tell yourself you're capable, worthy, and deserving of success, your mind starts believing it and your actions follow. When you berate yourself, your mind shrinks away from challenges and hides in fear. The key is consistency. You don't have to banish all negative thoughts overnight. Instead, make a commitment to respond to self-criticism as a caring friend would. When a thought like, "I'm not good enough," surfaces, answer it with, "I'm doing my best, and that's enough right now." That gentle but firm response diffuses the power of negativity and invites kindness in. Let me share a story about Sarah, who struggled with confidence and self-doubt. She used to replay her failures in her mind like a broken record. One day, she decided to treat herself like a close friend would. She started journaling kind words to herself and speaking affirmations out loud. Over time, her inner voice softened. The voice that once mocked her mistakes began encouraging her to try again. Sarah's life shifted because she chose to change her internal dialogue. This approach isn't about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about speaking truth with empathy. A true friend doesn't sugarcoat challenges. They acknowledge difficulties but also remind you of your strength and potential. Speaking to yourself like that means accepting imperfections while focusing on growth. Another reason this practice is so transformative is that it cultivates emotional safety within. When life gets overwhelming and external voices criticize or doubt you, your inner voice becomes a sanctuary. You become your own advocate and protector. That emotional refuge builds the courage to face setbacks and keep moving forward. Think about the mental battles you face daily. The constant self-judgment and fear of failure can drain your energy and cloud your judgment. But if you commit to speaking kindly and supportively to yourself, you'll find more peace and clarity. You'll approach problems with calm confidence instead of panic and self-blame. One practical step is to develop a list of compassionate phrases to say when you feel discouraged. These could be simple reminders like, "I am enough," "Mistakes help me learn," or "I choose progress, not perfection." Repeat these phrases regularly to build a habit of kindness toward yourself. When negative thoughts creep in, challenge them with encouragement. For example, if you think, "I'll never succeed," replace it with, "Success takes time and I'm moving forward every day." This shifts your mindset from defeat to determination. This commitment to self-friendship also means forgiving yourself. Everyone makes mistakes, and holding on to guilt or shame only weighs you down. A true friend forgives quickly and helps you move on. When you learn to forgive yourself, you free up emotional energy to focus on growth and action. Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for all other relationships. When you speak kindly to yourself, you build confidence and emotional stability that radiates outward. You communicate from a place of strength and calm, attracting positive people and opportunities. You might wonder if this sounds too simple to work, but the most profound changes often come from small shifts in perspective and habit. The way you talk to yourself is a powerful lever that can move mountains or bury you under doubt. Commitment is the secret ingredient. It's easy to be kind to yourself when things are going well, but true transformation happens when you choose self-friendship in moments of challenge. That's when your inner friend becomes your greatest ally. Take a moment right now and notice how you're speaking to yourself. Are your words harsh or gentle? Are you offering support or criticism? Becoming aware is the first step toward change. Imagine your mind as a garden. Negative self-talk is like weeds that choke your growth. Speaking to yourself like a true friend is like watering and nurturing that garden. With care and attention, your confidence and self-worth will bloom. It's okay if this feels unfamiliar or uncomfortable at first. You're rewiring years of conditioned thought patterns. Be patient and persistent. Over time, your inner voice will sound more like a trusted friend than a harsh critic. Remember, you deserve the same kindness you offer others. Your worth is not dependent on achievements or approval. It's inherent, and treating yourself as a true friend honors that truth. Let this commitment transform the way you live each day. Speak to yourself with warmth, patience, and encouragement. Watch how your mindset shifts, your motivation deepens, and your resilience grows. This is not just a technique, it's a lifestyle, a way of being